On the gridiron or courtside, you know what time it is. It's
Sports plus life. Sports plus life.
ringside or front court or field pass, we ballin', no. Knuckle up or buckle up. I tell it like it is when I'm on my show. Home run, slam dunk, knockout, or got some dough.
Sports plus life.
Yeah.
Sports plus life.
Ah.
Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's really good? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. You feel me? Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so you already know what's going down today, bro. So guess what? Guess what? Turn it off. Turn it off. Let's turn it all the way off now. Yeah. How is everybody doing today? Please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns, and this here is Sports Plus Life, that there sports podcast where we talk about all of the necessary topics in sports and all of the necessary topics in life. And how is everybody doing? It's a little chilly today. This Virginia weather is so crazy, but it's a clear, skies are clear. Beautiful, beautiful spring day. Not too hot, little crisp to it. Here in the Richmond, VA, of course. And it is Monday, May the 9th, 2022. And let me send a belated happy Mother's Day to all of the beautiful mothers out there in motherland. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself on Mother's Day. I hope everybody spoiled all you mammies rotten. I really do. I sent a Mother's Day shout out on Facebook Live to everybody yesterday evening. I sung part of a verse from Mama, the Boys to Men song, the official anthem of Mother's Day, and has been for the last 25 years. But yes, the shout outs went to everybody. My mom, my grandmom, the mother of my kids, my sister, and then yesterday, last night, my Uncle Michael and Aunt Cora came here to see your boy. My Uncle Michael and Aunt Cora, they live in Vegas, and they were here for Mother's Day. I had no clue. But, you know, it is what it is. They came over and they chilled. They came over to see me for about 30, 45 minutes. That was awesome because I haven't seen him in a minute. That's my Uncle Michael. That's my guy, man. My father's brother, man. That is my guy. And they saw my kids, and it was cool, man. I was like, that was a really good surprise. And I know they're still in, I know they said they were going to Charlottesville today, but I hope that they commute safely back to Vegas, and they keep telling me, man, you got to come on out here. You got to come on out here. And I'm like, I know. And believe me, I want to, because I have never been to Vegas. That is something that I definitely would like to do. But anyway, before we get into sports, people, we have got to talk about some life. I did a video, put a YouTube video out a couple of days ago, or the day after I heard about the incident with Dave Chappelle. And that is going to segment into sports as well, because then we had an incident yesterday at the Dallas Mavericks Phoenix Suns game involving a fan coming at Chris Paul's wife and mother. I mean, you going to come at somebody's wife and mother on Mother's Day? That's a double dose of dirty that you're doing. My goodness gracious. But I said something on this video that I put up a couple of days ago. Stand-up comedians are under attack. I mean, I'm so serious. Stand-up comedians are now under attack by bitch-ass niggas. I really do mean that, because people nowadays are so damn sensitive that it is getting hard now for a stand-up comedian to do his job. And especially when you saw another celebrity like Will Smith go on the stage and on national television with the world watching and smack the shit out of Chris Rock, that has now emboldened more people to say, hey, I can do that too. No, you can't, because Will Smith is famous. Will Smith is rich. You know what happens when your average Joe runs up on a stand-up comedian? You get your ass whipped, like that dude who ran up on Dave Chappelle got his ass thoroughly whipped. But it's ridiculous. Like, people are so sensitive that you can't even tell jokes no more. I will say this again. If you are hypersensitive, if you have insecurities about anything in your life, in your existence, do not go to a stand-up comedy show or don't sit in the front row. But it doesn't matter. If you are hypersensitive to anything, do not go to a stand-up comedy show if you realize you can't take it. I have loved stand-up comedy for a very long time, most of my life. And when I say I love it, I love it. I used to go to sleep listening to stand-up comedy. I'm not lying. I would go to sleep listening to Robin Harris, Bebe's Kids, or Eddie Griffin, Voodoo Child, or Martin Lawrence, You So Crazy, or Chris Rock, Bring the Pain, or Dave Chappelle, Killing Me Softly. This is what I would listen to when I would go to sleep. I love stand-up comedy. And the fact that now people are going to have to, like, comedians are going to have to be packing gats now in their pocket, and they're going to have to let it be known before they start their show. How's everybody doing? You see this bitch right here? Click, click. It does work. So run up on me if you want to. Kapow. Like, for real, because people are now so sensitive. Why are you folks listening to other idiots on the internet gassing you up thinking that you can do whatever you want and there will be no consequences to it? Did you see how that dude got his ass beat? And he didn't just get beat up by security. He got beat up by other celebrities. So my man took a celebrity ass whooping. He was getting stomped out by Buster, Jamie Foxx. Dave Chappelle came in there and put them paws on him, laid them boots on him. I mean, and he deserved it. He thoroughly deserved the way his face was rearranged because, again, stand-up comedy is a beautiful thing. One thing that we definitely need in this world today is laughter. And now people are trying to take that away from us because you can't take a joke. I mean, what kind of comedy do you want? Why did the chickens cross the road to get to the other side? Chugga, 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 chugga. Man, please. No, that's for kindergarten. No, I'd rather hear somebody say, "Hey, man, guess what? Your wife got herpes, and she used your toothbrush." I mean, that's just me. I have a crazy sense of humor, but stand-up comedy. I mean, that's. Your freedom of speech is under attack, bro. Freedom of speech is under attack. And it's always secretly been under attack, but now it is coming to the forefront where, again, this dude ran up on the GOAT. He ran up on Dave Chappelle. He ran up on to me, the greatest to ever do it. And then did a half-ass tackle, which would assure me that he would never make a football team because that was a damn joke. I mean, what? Bitch ass niggas. Again, I'm a harp on that. Bitch ass niggas who cannot take a joke over sensitive ass people. And then while I'm watching this online, somebody who I guess was narrating and breaking it down, was like, well, I don't know if I agreed with Dave Chappelle's joke afterwards when Dave Chappelle said it was a trans man. Man, that shit was perfect. That was perfectly timed. They set it up and Dave Chappelle knocked it down. Then Chris Rock knocked it down by coming on stage and saying, "Was that Will Smith?" That was glorious comedy. I don't know if I agree with that joke. Shut up. Then don't watch. Change the channel, jackass. For real, I am so sick of these people saying, "Hey, watch what you." I mean, if you, again, cannot handle stand-up comedy, don't listen to it. Then don't listen to it. It is really that simple. Because, again, they ran up on the GOAT. They ran up on Dave Chappelle. It just absolutely makes no sense. And to talk about this matter with me, y'all know my crazy ass cousin, David. What up, homie?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, man, me and you did a whole show when Will Smith ran up on stage and smacked Chris Rock. And now these people out here are really getting emboldened. They're letting the internet gas their head up, thinking that they can do that. And what I said before we got on the line, D, I said, everybody now thinks because you saw one celebrity smack another that your average Joe can just run up on a celebrity and you see what happens. No, Will Smith is rich. Will Smith is celebrity. That guy that ran up on Dave Chappelle got his ass whipped.
But people need to see that because that's different. Will Smith just got a little $20, $30 fine or whatever, got banned from the Oscars for a couple of years. Now a regular ass motherfucker got his ass whooped. People need to see that. It's like the before and after. Like you go ahead and rob a liquor store or whatever, That's you trying to get a $40, $50 hit, whatever, blase. That's when you're rich versus when you're a regular ass nigga. When you're a regular ass nigga, you get the shit stomped out you. You get a broken arm, they done busted the boy's face all open and everything.
I mean, didn't they?
Regular niggas, they fucked him up good and royally. But he deserved that.
He deserved it. He earned it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that happened to him, Dave Chappelle got some kicks in. I found that hilarious.
So did I, bro.
So did I. Dave Chappelle ain't had to make one joke. They should just took the camera to the back with them shit kicking this motherfucker.
And not only that,
like an hour.
He got a famous ass whooping because it wasn't just security, because all the security would have been fired after that. I don't give a shit. But not only was security beating his ass, Jamie Foxx stomping him, Buster stomping him. Then Dave Chappelle got in some kicks. He was like, I stomped the nigga out on backstage. I always wanted to do that.
Yeah. See, that would have been quality entertainment for me. If I'd have bought that live on pay-per-view, I would have rewinded just to that part. Not saying Dave Chappelle wasn't funny the whole show. He probably was, knowing Dave Chappelle he was, but I would have reminded just to that ass whooping right there.
I wonder if because that was a Netflix special that they were shooting. I wonder if they're going to keep that footage. I think they should.
They will, because like with Netflix, controversy brings rating, racism brings rating, sex brings rating. All that shit Netflix is paying for. It was probably somewhere in his subclause of his contract. They probably tacked on another $10 million today just to have that.
Yeah, because a lot of people are gonna watch it just because of that. And then Chris Rock coming on stage and saying, was that Will Smith? All of that shit was perfect. Yeah. Chris Rock probably got a couple of mails just for saying that. Probably. But I mean, yeah, the dude earned the ass whooping, but it's like, again, that's why I said it's like stand-up comedy is under attack, because people who just can't handle jokes now feel now empowered and emboldened that they can take action into their own hands. I said earlier, stand-up comedians are going to have to be packing on stage. But let's look at the last 4 to 5 years, what's been going on. This whole shit been started past Trump. Mm-hmm. All this shit when motherfuckers who just could say whatever the fuck they want. I mean, just dumb, ignorant ass shit. Trump did it for 4 years. Mm-hmm. But encouraged other dumb motherfuckers who are like-minded like him. Motherfuckers ran into the White House, the Capitol, and was just burning flags and having a cookout on the front lawn. Like, it's just to the point where it's like, now we could single out comedians and say, you can't say fag, you can't say trans, you can't make jokes about this, that, and the third. Now we're just singling out individuals. Like, Dave Chappelle isn't the first to get targeted by. Now we're just looking in as an avenue for what is on everybody's mind. And right now it's comedy. Now we're just bashing comedy. Now, back in the days, remember, they weren't bashing Richard Pryor. They weren't bashing Rick Fox for shit like that he was saying. You mean Red Fox? Red Fox. You said Rick Fox. That's the basketball player. Yeah. Well, I was bashing Rick Fox because I didn't say anything so damn juicy. I was his Jerry Curl so juicy all the goddamn time. But anyway, nobody back in the days when we was growing up watching the early comedians. Well, the early comedians of our youth. I mean, yeah, nobody was coming to D.L. Hughley because D.L. Hughley would roast you. He would, but it would still be funny. Yeah. It's funny, and it made you think, and nobody really, it was just comedy. You went to a comedy show, you went to laugh, you went to get your hee-hees, your ha-has, and all that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't to be like, all right, it was a joke at the end of the day. Yeah. It was a comedy segment, and you never took more than that from it, that you needed to not look more into it than that. Unless you were the Nutty Professor. Unless you were the Nutty Professor, correct. And but now, but now it's crazy because like you said, D.L. Hughley would roast you, Bruce would roast you, Robin Harris would roast you, Martin would roast you, and now it's like people are so hypersensitive. Like when Dave Chappelle said it was a trans man, I fell out my damn seat. I thought that was hilarious. That shit was funny. Yeah, that shit was funny as hell. Yeah. I think Dave Chappelle's getting a lot of undeserved attention. Not undeserved attention. I think he's getting a lot of unwarranted hate from the groups. Oh, obviously. Right now. Obviously. But it's funny at the end of the day. It is funny at the end of the day. It is.
Funny shit.
I mean, if you are so uptight as a person that you can't poke fun at your own self, then you really need to sit down and think about some things. You know,
Right.
like me and you used to, you know, and we've told this story before. When we were in school, we would go at it. Like, we would go at it, and we would sit at the lunch table. Bruh, if you could survive the lunch table, then you could poke fun at yourself because we brought it.
That's it.
I mean, cracking with you and cracking against you is what made me so good.
That's it, bro.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, people don't realize how I can get your ass if I really want to. Anybody, I could really roast your ass. Me, you, Sean, we could bring it.
That's it, bro. That's it. But that right there made us. We grew up in a generation where we're not sensitive to shit like this, but we can laugh at shit.
Yeah.
But where we not like, oh, you crack on me, blah blah blah. I'm gonna get the heater real quick because I can sell this real quick, like.
Yeah. I mean, like, if
we're not sensitive to shit like that.
I mean, because if people are so stuck on themselves where they can't even poke fun at themselves, I poke fun at my own damn self. You know, I will crack on me. Matter of fact, when I'm at work, I do it all the time. I crack on myself all the time. But I mean, I'm not that uptight. I'm not that stuck on myself. Like I said, I'm the more comfortable in my own skin than I ever have been in my life. And it seems like these people out here now, they just cannot, like, look, the notion of a happy, joy world is full of shit.
It's done.
I mean, because if you can't laugh, if we can't laugh together, even if you guys are all getting a big kick, a joyous laugh, a huge laugh at my expense, bro, I can live with that. I'm probably laughing with you. And people today, again, bitch ass niggas. Bitch ass niggas.
Bitch ass niggas, bro. Bitch ass niggas, bro. And the crazy shit is that, like, it takes that skill that, like, your Chappelle's, your Hewleys and them have, that make people want to think introspectively about life and all the shit that's going on, but still make you laugh. But they bring that serious side to make you think at the same time. But if you overthink in comedy, and now you're putting labels on things, there's enough labels floating around the world as it is right now. You know, in the Western Hemisphere, we are the most judgmental continent in the world. Like, we put labels on things that don't even deserve labels. That don't even need labels. And
absolutely.
We just let that shit go to our heads, and then it's like, oh, you crossed the street the wrong way. Oh, you don't like women. Oh, you don't like this. Oh, you didn't clean up your dog's own shit. So now, you know what I'm saying? We're hypersensitive to things that we don't need to be hypersensitive about.
I mean, and it's just ridiculous. You know, I mean, it's already getting too expensive to live. Don't take away my laughter. I mean, for real. Right. I mean, everything is gone. Man, do you understand that we're the only species on this planet that pays to live in this motherfucker?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Don't take away my laughter. Like I said earlier again, D, I said, what kind of comedy do people want? Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Chuck. No. I'd rather hear about how your wife got herpes and she used your toothbrush.
You're right. It's crazy, man, because it's like, dude, to keep from spinning back on the Chappelle joint, that right there, that's part of the genius of Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. Like, he could spin stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's probably what makes him one of the more modern age goats. Probably still one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
he just spins stuff like that. The modern things that we're going through right now.
And then Jamie Foxx comes out there and he said, whenever you're in trouble, Jamie Foxx is going to come help you with a sheriff's hat on. I'm like, dude just totally made that a whole segment. Him just getting attacked made that a whole segment, and it was funny as hell. And that was nothing but improv.
That's it. That makes him a genius at what he do.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx is lovely. He's real fucking funny. Like, we forget that he's back on 11 Color back in the day.
Bro, Jamie Foxx is another one that could roast the shit out you, bro.
Oh, yeah, he's funny as fuck.
Remember when he was beefing with LL?
Yeah,
bro, you don't.
Real funny.
Remember when he was beefing with LL?
Yeah, he did that Johnny in Living Color.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, you don't. I mean, and when they did Any Given Sunday, and they would started beefing like, bro, you don't. I don't care how great of a rapper you are. You don't come at a comedian, bro, because this is what they do.
That's it. Like LL was the big guy on the block. You didn't want beef. You didn't want drama with LL because LL could like make you disappear type shit. But Jamie came at him like, look, I'm the funny guy. You the rapper. You the dry lip having ass motherfucker. I'm funny and you not.
I mean,
ladies love you, but at the same time, bro, you're not funny.
I mean, what do these people want out of comedy? I mean, like I said, I think offensive comedy is hilarious. I mean, would I be wrong if I wish that somebody pissed on your front doorknob?
Right. They want it to be funny to where it's funny, but to a point where it's not objectifying somebody, it's not making fun of somebody. But that's to us, that's where that's where the genius is at. Mm-hmm. To them, it's got to be like, no, it could be funny, but it can't be funny until
it can't be offensive.
You can't be offensive comedy. It's got to be, like you said, it's going to be funny up to the point that after they stop talking about the chicken crossing the goddamn road, then it's like, okay, well, this bitch just got slapped up in the club. And then it's like, oh, that shit ain't funny no more. That ain't funny no more.
I mean,
that's their level of comedy.
Sorry, that sucks. That sucks.
It sucks. But how did she get slapped up in the club, though?
I mean, and look, man, people coming at Chappelle because he's pointing out how there are people who were born in this world with penises, and then gets it manually changed to a vajayjay, and people are offended by that. Come on, man. Poke some fun at your own self, man.
You gotta do better than that.
Poke some fun at your own self.
Right. That just means you looking too much into yourself. You're looking too much on the outside of things, and you really need to look at this shit ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. Like, you really need to try harder for shit to complain about. When I complain about something, why gas so goddamn expensive?
Facts. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that shit. That's what you need to complain about. Don't complain about somebody over here trying to take that burden off your head and make you laugh about this shit.
Right. Exactly.
That's where the seriousness of the situation is. Not because this man telling you a story about some shit that's off the wall over this way, and now you complain about, well, I don't think he likes transgender people. Like, I don't think that it's that deep. I don't think it's that serious. If you caught that from it, well, that just means that's what you're looking at. If you're looking at the story from this side, you might not need to be watching some comedy shows. You might need to stick to watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something.
Exactly. I said that to begin this whole segment. If you are that hypersensitive, do not go to a stand-up comedy show. Just don't do it.
No.
Just don't do it. If it bothers you that much, stay in your lane and stay home.
Right. Those of us who enjoy that type of shit, we like watching comedy. We enjoy comedy for what it is. Then we enjoy these elements of the comedy. We enjoy the roasting. We enjoy the back and forth. We enjoy the interactions with the crowd, with the comedian bringing that level of the raunchy mixed with the, all right, he's a storyteller. He's going to paint the picture, the Cedrics of the world. Even the old Steve Harvey. The old Steve Harvey back in the day was funny as hell.
Mm-hmm. Hey, bro, do you think while dude was getting his ass whipped, do you think he was trying to ask for an autograph? Because he got a celebrity ass whooping.
No, but you couldn't sign his face after it was all.
Right.
No, I saw his face after it was all said and done, bro. That shit wasn't nothing pretty about that ass.
No.
He legit could have been in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most expensive ass whipping. That nigga probably cost him like $25, but that ass whipping, priceless.
Hey, Netflix need to send him a check for real.
Look, back to the security guard. I'm like, where was y'all at?
Bro, they would all be fired.
Every angle, this nigga was like he was standing up in front of the stage, waiting for one of them motherfuckers to just be like, all right, we good, Dave. We gonna go and take lunch. Then he bolted up on stage, did the most terrible 30-mile sprint trip, and then almost caught an uppercut.
And then, they said dude had like a replica gun with knives and shit. How did he get into the event?
Well, it's just like most clubs back in VA. Like everybody gets a pat down, but as soon as somebody step on your J's, everybody got a gun.
I mean,
Like you felt like the dumbass because you left your shit in the car. Everybody got a gun in the club except for you now. So you looking like the goddamn designated driver.
I mean, and these, and like I said again, the internet is gassing these people up, making them think that they can do whatever without consequence. I don't know if you heard about what happened yesterday at the playoff game, the Mavericks and the Suns playoff game. A fan was harassing, literally put their hands on Chris Paul's wife and mother.
Oh wow,
bruh!
That's been the thing with the NBA for the longest. I mean, heckling players and everything like that. And look, I'm siding with the players on that one. You heckle me and you paid your money, whatever. You could sit in the stands. You could say whatever the fuck you want. Freedom of speech. I'm all for it. Believe me. But the second you get out of pocket,
right?
And you do whatever you feel you can do, and then you put hands where they don't belong, well, then you got you something different coming. You got a different situation.
Exactly. And now see, this fan looked like he only looked like he was a teenager, but Chris Paul was rightfully so enraged. Chris Paul tried to get at the dude. I mean, they have it on video where they're escorting dude out. Chris Paul looking at me saying, "I see you." He's like, "I see you." It's like, and you know what? I'm not talking malice in the palace, but if Chris Paul had a win in the stands and smacked the shit out of that dude, I would have been happy. Because like you said, with the dude who got his ass whooped for attacking Dave Chappelle, sometimes you need to see that. To set your ass, to send a message to people. First of all, we may be celebrities, we may be athletes, we are still human beings. You gonna put your hands on my wife and my mother on Mother's Day? Bruh, that's a double dose of dirty. You deserve to get the shit slapped out of you, bruh.
Yeah, I'm going to wreck you. So you're going to take everything you believe I am as a comedian or whatever, a ball player, hockey player, whatever the hell, and then you're going to meet reality of me, which is I'm going to fuck you up.
Right.
You're going to fuck your shit all up. They're going to carry you on the ambulance. I might drive by the hospital and say, "Hey, bro, you want to talk it out now?" Which we should have done in the first place before you decided to put hands on my wife and mother on Mother's Day. I'm going to fuck you up. That's the reality meeting the persona.
Because then
the shit is meeting the fan now. It's like they seeing comedians and they thinking comedians are all hee ha ha jokes and everything, and they ain't going to do nothing to them.
But see, here's the difference. Dave Chappelle got to put hands and feet on dude. Ain't nothing going to happen to him, and rightfully so. He's defending himself. Let Chris Paul had a win in the stands and put hands on that fan, he would be suspended. He would be the one getting fined, forgetting the fact that he is a human being and his family was literally was getting harassed physically.
Now, I think the NBA would have brought that under review. He would have got a one game suspension.
It don't matter. It's the playoffs now, bro. They all count.
They all count. Fair enough. But under review, you would have had to look back and have been like, was Chris Paul under danger? Under duress? No. But his family unit also paid the same amount of money for those tickets to watch the games, upstanding fans and everything, supporting his son, supporting her husband and everything like that. She wasn't out there heckling.
But that does put Chris Paul under duress. If I'm doing my job, I'm playing basketball, but I have to worry about my wife and my mother being physically harassed by somebody I don't even know. Wouldn't that put you under duress? D, let's say you playing ball and your mom is out there and somebody physically putting hands on your mother. Ain't you going? Would you not leave the court to go dust somebody ass up?
Look. I'm calling time real quick. I'm like, look, I'm calling 30. Fellas, I need to go over here and handle something. Look, I'm gonna sell some boy in real quick. Somebody that's on the other side of the court. But hey, come in and play ball for me real quick. I gotta go stomp somebody out real fast. I gotta go stomp this nigga out real quick.
Right.
Be back. It ain't gonna take me long, but I gotta go stomp this nigga out real quick.
Exactly.
It's just gonna be what it's gonna be.
It is what it is.
That's it. Now with the NBA, all right, fine. You're a role model. You're this, that, and third, but you're a person first.
You're whether you're NBA, MLB, comedian, singer, actor, political person. You're a human being first before you're any of those titles. that you accomplish while you're living. You're a person first. I don't give a damn what your occupation is. You're a person first. And people, dumbass, bitch ass niggas who think because they pay to get through the turnstiles think that they now are entitled to do and say whatever. I'm telling you, one of these days, an athlete is just gonna throw caution to the wind and run in the stands and beat the hell out of some. I'm not talking about Ron Artest. I'm talking about they're gonna see somebody messing with a family member of theirs, and they gonna run in the stands and they gonna whoop their ass. They gonna throw caution to the wind.
Well, Ron Artest didn't throw caution to win. He threw caution to that right hand. But no, look, it's a basic principle. Second Amendment, I'm with it. You can say whatever the hell you want to say. I can go up to somebody and be like, fuck a duck. And you might not know what it means. Whatever, I can say it. Am I prepared for the consequences if that person be like, you want me to go have sexual intercourse with a duck? I don't care for that. And then you can retaliate against me. But as my amendment rights can say, I can say that. Now, how you retaliate back from that, that's on you. It's the same thing, vice versa, with comedians, ball players, hockey players, whatever. You can do whatever you want to. You can say whatever you want to in the realm of your little bubble surrounded around you. Now, what the other person or however anybody else interprets your actions, whether it be hostile or otherwise, I mean, you might want to prepare for a long hospital stay. Some folks don't take your actions too much of in their space, in their bubbles, so to speak. That dude that ran up on Chappelle was tried to before he tripped like an idiot.
Yeah, he would never make a football team, that's for sure.
Yeah. But he probably could have played for the Jets. You know, they hiring people right now. I put my resume in on Indeed. I think I'm second, third string quarterback for the Jets. You know, I'm going to leave minimum, but at the same time, they ain't turning nobody away.
No, not the Jets.
They're automatically going to lose too this season. So I'm in there. I ain't worried about that though. But you know, once you perceive a threat, and that's what's going on now. I truly do believe threats are being perceived differently through the talk and the tone of people now. And it's not so much that, the comedy factor is in and this, that, and the third. It's like I perceive what you're saying to me and to my generation in my area as you don't care for this group of people. You're a low-key racist, or you're this and you're that, and I have to stand up for these people who can't stand up for themselves. And now you want to be a low-key superhero. Well, unless your ass can fly or you bulletproof, I don't suggest that course of action. Dave Chappelle did that and was right on time to show these people that, look, do what you want, say what you want, but be prepared that you're not going to run up on another man and think that it's going to be what it's going to be, but you're going to get these hands.
And not only that, I mentioned Dave Chappelle and the thing with Chris Paul and his family, Mike Tyson. People are running up. They're trying. I mean, when you want to troll and harass somebody, you go right to the front of the line when you come after Iron Mike. But Iron Mike had to put hands on somebody. You know what I mean? And I don't understand what these people's problem is. I mean, you want your likes to go up that much on social media that you're going to do what you did to Dave Chappelle. You're going to run up on Mike Tyson. Like, is it worth it?
Look, if you want to get your followers up, I'm all for it, as long as you're doing it in a respectful manner. If you want to get your likes to go up that bad where Mike Tyson has to give you a two-piece to your face, I don't think it's worth it because, two, you're not going to have a face that's going to have to be reconstructed. You're not going to look the same as your profile picture anymore.
And then like a week later, a woman put their finger near his mouth or under his nose. Like, what is wrong with these people out here?
That's just Germany.
Yeah.
Like, we just trying to get over COVID. Now you want to come up with your finger in my head? Go wash your hands.
Yeah.
Go wash your hands. That's just people doing too much. People doing too much and just don't even care. They try to be out there. That's just doing too much. Too much of the wrong shit.
Way too much.
Like, you're like, all right, funny, no. Disrespectful, there you go. You're again, in my bubble. Why are you in my bubble? If I wasn't famous, personal aspect. From the aspect, why are you in that man's space? Especially one of the baddest men on the damn planet. Why are you in that man's space?
Right.
Why are you doing that? Like, you wouldn't care for it if I kicked up in your front door, sat myself down while you was eating dinner, and been like, hey, this stuffing tastes like shit. Take him up and make it again. Or like we used to do back in the days, back in third and fourth grade, be like, stick your finger in somebody and match theirs, be like, my germs.
Yeah, right, exactly. That right, and I mean, yeah, that. I mean, I don't understand. Like, people, like, if you really want to pick somebody to mess with, you go right to the front of the line, to the head of the class, when you come after Mike Tyson. That's like after you done hit the gym for like 3 or 4 months, and you got you some trapezoids, you got you some bigger shoulders. I wouldn't have started with like Mike Tyson. That's like the last dude on, like, that's like when you played Street Fighter and you had like Mike Tyson or you had M. Bison. M. Bison.
And then you played the game so good, then you found out that M. Bison got his ass kicked now as Akuma on Ultra Hard, and you're just like, oh, I fucked up.
Or if you like on Punch Out, when the last dude you fight is Mike Tyson, but if he hits you once, your ass is out.
That's it. It's like, why would you go for the dude that you just ain't got no real reason to be up against? There's anybody else in the world. Go after like a cruiserweight, a featherweight. Don't go to the heavyweight class if you only like $150.
Right.
It's not gonna work out for you.
And I'm gonna transition as now I'm gonna drop some music in the background, but you'll hear it once I send you the link. I'm gonna, since we're talking about boxing, while I'm now gonna transition to actual sports. Let's get to it, Buzzard. Okay, and Canelo Alvarez was upset on Saturday. He lost. He lost to Dimitri Bivol. He moved up to light heavyweight to face Dimitri Bivol, who was only 19-0. And I said, damn it, the one fight, the pay-per-view fight that I said that I'm not gonna pay for happens to be the upset. Did you see any highlights from the Canelo fight?
No, I ain't seen none of that shit. We're gonna write it off as Canelo. We're gonna whoop some boy ass, and then maybe we'll get the Triple G fight. Maybe he'll fight somebody credible again. Maybe before I die. And he turn around guy's ass whooped, huh? Neat.
I mean, he was outclassed. I mean, I watched the fight. Of course, you know, somebody always posted on YouTube before the shit gets blocked, so I was able to catch that. But Canelo was outclassed, and the thing with Canelo is that he was like, well, the judges miscalculated. Well, the judges did miscalculate because all 3 judges had to fight 115 to 113. That was too close. The fight really wasn't even that close. When I saw the fight, I scored it. I had it 117, 111. Even Canelo's promoter, Eddie Hearn, said that he scored the fight because he said he only had Canelo winning 3 rounds.
Everybody in Canelo's side and everybody in the building had him getting his ass whooped pretty much.
Yeah. And it was shocking, you know, because one of the reasons why I didn't order the fight, well, for one, it was on DAZN pay-per-view, and I'm like, hold on. The whole reason of the DAZN streaming network is to eliminate pay-per-view. Now y'all trying to charge pay-per-view? Y'all trying to be slick little bastards.
Yeah, so you got DAZN. Now you got DAZN pay-per-view.
Yeah, and that was
pay-per-view was still extra.
Right, exactly. And
I love it.
I'm serious because all of Canelo's fights that have been on DAZN haven't been no damn DAZN pay-per-view. He fought more well-known people. He fought Daniel Jacobs, Sergey Kovalev, all on DAZN, and one of them never no damn DAZN pay-per-view. Like, what kind of scam y'all trying to pull now? But the reason why I didn't order it, other than what I just said, was that it's Cinco de Mayo weekend. Canelo's fighting in Vegas. I didn't think there was a chance in hell that he would lose a decision in Vegas on Cinco de Mayo weekend. if anything, if I thought Canelo was to lose, I would have figured he would have had to have been knocked out.
Right.
Because on, certain stuff like that.
On his turn.
Yeah, because certain stuff like that, I consider a fighter to be going into the ring with him already down 6 rounds with those circumstances. But the fight was so one-sided, the judges had no other choice. The fight was that one-sided. And I'm happy Canelo lost because, one, he's gotten some golden boy decisions. I mean, like, now if I'm Gennady Golovkin, I am fucking heated right now. Because they had signed on to have their trilogy fight after this one that Canelo, fought. Triple G handled his business a month ago, and now Canelo is saying, well, I have a contractual rematch. I want a rematch. And if I'm Triple G, I'm pissed. Because I'm like, no. Because you've been running from my ass for the last 4 years. Because me personally, I think Canelo lost both fights to Triple G.
Of course.
I think he lost both fights, but got them golden boy decisions. And now it's finally time for a third fight. You move up to light heavyweight. You ain't had, you weren't a belt holder, so you lost. Okay, you're still the undisputed super middleweight champion, which is where they're supposed to fight at. If I'm Triple G, I'm saying fuck your rematch against this dude.
Yeah. This is what the folks want to see. This is what the folks didn't want to see.
Yeah. I mean, and there are enough fighters at 168. There are enough fighters at 160, like David Benavidez, Jamal Charlo, Jamie Munguia. These are all undefeated fighters who would be, to me, and obviously it would be better for Canelo because you're not a light heavyweight, bro. Period.
That's where he should have took the fight. It should have been a warm-up fight instead of you just moving up in class.
Yeah, you're not a light heavyweight. He 3 years ago he beat Kovalev to win a light heavyweight belt, but the secret had already been out on Kovalev. He doesn't like it to the body, and he doesn't have a great chin. Okay, fine. So you got that one, cool. But you're not a light heavyweight. He acknowledged himself that his best weight is super middleweight. Super middleweight, where he has all the belts and people are gunning for him. And there's still a lot more money to be made. There's a lot more money to be made if he fights Triple G a third time, or if he fights David Benavidez, or if he fights Charlo. There's a lot of money. And again, all of these guys, they're undefeated.
Like you were saying, fight Triple G now, it would be looking like Triple G. We said Triple G won the first fight. And now they fought a third time, Triple G will kill him.
Well, one of the reasons why I've been frustrated with Canelo is because, he waited now till Triple G is now 40 years old, but still look damn good on his last fight. There's the only loss on his record. The only loss Triple G has on his record is that one loss to Canelo. Again, a fight I thought he won. A fight that most of the boxing public with 2 eyes and a brain, if you saw it, thought that he won.
Not even the known world knows he lost that fight.
Right. Because I remember watching SportsCenter after that fight, and Teddy Atlas is going nuts. He's like, how the hell? Like, it was a great fight. Canelo stood toe-to-toe with him and fought. That was great, but he did not win the fight. And but now he's talking about fighting Bivol again. And I'm like, oh God, I'm like, no, like you're not a light heavyweight, dude.
He's picking his spot. This is what's going to destroy his career. If he continues to stay at his current weight, he's going to rack up them nails. Unless he gets more proficient at his current weight, at light heavyweight.
But he's not. He fought a natural light heavyweight again. Like we knew about Kovalev, we knew that he doesn't like it to the body, and then he doesn't have a great chin. Andre Ward exposed that 5 years ago, and Andre Ward was not even a big puncher. But with him fighting Bivol, a natural light heavyweight, a guy who's a technical boxer, like I said, Canelo was outclassed Saturday night. And that's why I was so shocked, because given the circumstances, Cinco de Mayo weekend, Vegas, Canelo's supposed to be the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world, the biggest pay-per-view draw. You ain't beating him unless you knock him out. And you ain't winning the decision unless you knock him out in Vegas. But the fight was that one-sided that, to me, 115 to 113 was really too damn close.
Yeah, they gave him the generous draw on that one.
They gave him a generous enough loss where he can maybe think in his own mind, well, I could still probably beat him. And bruh, if he goes back and watches the fight, he was out. Like, honestly, dude could have knocked him out. And if a rematch came, if I'm Dimitri Bivol, I'm coming in with that attitude. Oh, okay. So last time wasn't good enough. Now I'm gonna knock your ass silly.
Now I'm gonna take your head clean off.
Yeah. Send you back down to 168. And again, if I'm Gennady Golovkin, I'm doing whatever I got to do, even if I got to sue your ass. Nah, bitch, you bring your ass right back down here. You have all of the belts. I'm your mandatory next fight for as far as that division. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, with them two, look, of course I want to see Triple G fight him. This is going back to the whole, all right, there's two parts to this. With the whole Cinco de Mayo thing, we've seen that happen before, remember? With Cotto. Cotto got embarrassed royally on Cinco de Mayo. Who beat him? I think it was Pacquiao. Pacquiao beat him on Cinco de Mayo.
That wasn't Cinco de Mayo. I know what you're talking about when Cotto and Pacquiao fought. That wasn't Cinco de Mayo week. That was actually near That was near, what's the one in September? Not Cinco de Mayo, what is it, Mexican New Year?
Mexican New Year.
Yeah, that was around that time period, or closer to Thanksgiving. But, because, Cinco de Mayo, the Cinco de Mayo fight week, that was ruled by Floyd Mayweather for a long time. Matter of fact, that's the last time Canelo lost, officially lost, was to Mayweather in 2013. But, like I said, I was just under the circumstance, because again, Canelo, he's the biggest name in boxing. This is really his weekend. Hadn't fought the last two Cinco de Mayo weekends because of COVID. And, I just figured that there was no way he was going to lose a decision. And then when I saw the fight, I was like, well, damn, you couldn't really give him the decision. I was like, dude, legit beat his ass. And it was just, the crowd was just kind of like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? Is this really happening? I guarantee you, before that decision was announced, everybody and their mama said, well, we know Canelo lost, but watch them give him the decision.
Right.
And when the decision was announced and still undefeated from Russia, everybody was like, oh, shit. Like, whoa.
Putin was over in Russia doing backflips at that time.
Man, everybody was like, damn, okay. Because it was a legit decision. It was no fuckery going on in that decision. And that's, like I said, that's why I didn't buy the fight. I certainly plan on buying Triple G versus Canelo if they should fight again in September. The next fights that are coming up, I don't think there's no pay-per-view fights coming up, which is good because I don't need to keep spending my damn money like that. Charlo fights next Saturday. And it's boxing is so lit right now because every week until July, like Charlo fights next week. He fights on Saturday, and then Tank fights in 2 weeks. Gervonta Davis fights on May 28th. Devin Haney then fights the week after that versus Cam Booth. That's for the undisputed lightweight title. Like it's boxing is so lit, but now we have an upset. We've had an upset now.
Oh yeah, I would say that's an upset.
Yeah, we've had an upset.
That changes the whole landscape of just a whole division, if not all of boxing.
Well, the fight that needs to be made, and I hope is made soon, is Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's the fight. That would be the biggest fight in the world, should that happen. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They need to stop BSing. They need to get a date set, put a date on it, so we can have a fight. That's what they need to do. They need to put a date on it so we can have a fight, because boxing, they've wet the bed in the last few years as far as getting the best names in the ring where they can really cash in. They blew it with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. They blew it again with Tyson Fury and maybe Anthony Joshua, even though if Tyson Fury wins his rematch fight against Usyk, that would still be the biggest fight in England. The O2 Arena would have 100,000 people strong in there for that one. It'd be the biggest fight in the history of London, of England, if you can believe that. But boxing is very, very lit right now.
That's all of England, 100,000 people.
Said the Queen gonna be there and everything else.
Yeah. Queen will probably be in there with her one face and the whole nine. It'll be a lit ass fight, man.
They're gonna be Prince Harry and all of them gonna be up in there for that one.
No, they live in California or some shit. I think they live in New York.
I think it's California.
Yeah, there you go. They live over here now. Hey, they done divorced the old lady. They moved out. They took their ball. They went home. They took their talents to West Beach.
He said, I renounced my throne.
Right. Well, his wife might have been like, nah, bro, that's where the money at. Hold on now.
Well, I think they was mad because she black, because his wife is black.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think that was where the whole issue came, is because Prince Harry married a sister. And to me, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, there we go. You know, like, why do people, so we are the most copied race in the world, but people hate us so much. I don't understand that. I don't.
Hey, bro, you know what it is. Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't want to be a nigga.
Said everybody want to be a nigga, but not everybody want to be a nigga.
Not everybody want to be a nigga. That's how that goes.
Pretty much.
You want to dress like a nigga, but you don't want to have a nigga credit score.
Right.
You want to date a black girl, but you don't want to meet a black girl family. They will fuck your shit up. You want to? Your daddy said he was taking me to the club called Club Shootout. You said the party don't get started until like 1 o'clock in the morning, but you said you can get me in there at like 8 o'clock.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, partner, and I'm gonna finish this show up, man. Hey, Uncle Michael and Aunt Corey came by last night. They was here from Vegas, man.
Oh shit, how the hell they doing, man?
They doing good, man. They doing good. Keep telling me a nigga need to come out to Vegas. I'm like, I know, just gotta get the money for that shit, bro.
Yeah, bro, you can't just roll out to Vegas all timmed and shorted out.
Well, I will say this though: if I go to Vegas, at least I don't have to worry about staying at a resort. I got somewhere to go.
True that. Yeah, when's the next fight in Vegas?
Shit, I said to Uncle Michael, I said, how the hell you in Virginia? I said, and the big fight was last night.
True. Well, he probably knew ahead of time who was winning that one. He was like, I ain't watching that bullshit.
The next big fight.
He was winning that shit.
The next big fight in Vegas, because Tank's fight is in New York. It's at the Garden. Let me see. Where does Charlo fight at? Let me see. Charlo, no. Oh, Kovalev fights next week too. Okay. But he fights in Cali. Charlo's next fight is in Cali. So I don't know. Maybe the next big fight in Vegas. Maybe it'll be Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. Shit.
Look, the second half I was gonna say about the whole the Triple G and Canelo fight is this is starting to play out kind of like Pac-Man and
Mayweather.
Yeah.
No, I would say no because they fought twice already. I would have to say that's turning in. That's what Crawford and Spence is starting to turn into.
I'm saying if I can't beat him when he's young, I'll wait till they're like 50 drawing Social Security.
Well,
then I'm gonna kick his ass in the retirement home. And record this shit. He record this shit. Told y'all was the best pound for pound. Look, he can't even breathe. I beat him so bad. Oh, my bad. He having a heart attack? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all. Get out of here.
Oh my goodness.
Beat him on the ventilator.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, let me get out of here, D. So I'm gonna send you the link when it's loaded up. But I'm gonna holla at you.
All right, good boy. I got it, man. Good looking out.
Yes, sir.
You take your time, down.
Always.
And just remember, America, if you don't like comedy, just remember a comedian can and probably will whoop your ass.
Exactly.
Just keep that in mind.
Keep that. Yeah. Quick food for thought.
Quick food for thought. A comedian can and sometimes will whoop your ass. If you go to a comedian show and the comedian's name is somebody you never heard of, but the comedian name is just off the wall, nigga will whoop your ass. Just take that for food for thought. The nigga will whoop your ass.
That's a comedian name. Is nigga will whoop your ass?
The nigga will whoop your ass. Just a thought.
Just food for thought.
You never even heard of the nigga. He don't got no Netflix special or nothing like that. Nigga will whoop your ass. Where is he from? We don't even know. Whoop your ass.
Oh, snap. You dumb, bro.
I think he ain't playing no games out here. Like motherfucker, the first motherfucker that boo will get your ass kicked in this motherfucker. Will beat the shit out of you. All my shit is funny. My mama told me. My mama told me I was funny. Kick the shit out you on stage. And you know how you know? Because 5 people in the back yelling World Star while he shit with his Tim's on. He's like, yo, that nigga's funny.
Not World Star.
No Netflix special.
Not World Star, though.
Nigga will? Yeah. He ain't get no Netflix special, but that nigga, he did say he will kick the shit out of you. He really wasn't that funny, but as long as he ain't around, I ain't gonna tell him.
Oh, my goodness.
He'll kick the shit out you.
Oh, maybe we need to get 50 Cent doing stand-up. See if somebody try to run up on him.
New age 50, yeah. Old age 50, you be missing. Since ain't nobody heard of Ja Rule in a while.
Yeah, right.
I don't know where Ja Rule at. He probably took the Mace route and started a cult or religion or some shit.
I'm weak.
I don't fucking know. Where's Ja Rule at? I might Google that shit when I get off the phone. Where's Ja Rule at? I don't know. Now I'm kind of interested now that I said the shit.
I know he was doing Ja Rule done faded to reality TV, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh God! So he'll be on the Kardashians episode.
I hope not. I hope not. But anyway, let me get out of here, homie.
All right, boy, take your time out here.
All right, later.
Later.
All right. Oh my goodness gracious! I swear we could have did that all day. We really could have. But I mean, just make some good points. Again, if you can't stand-up comedy, if you can't deal with it, then keep your ass at home. But moving on to the NBA playoffs. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that I was totally locked into the NBA playoffs. We're into the second round, and we are more than halfway through. Well, at least in the East, at least with 2 of the series, we are more than halfway through the conference semifinals. And, hey, we have got some developing stories in these series. Let me first start off with the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat. Remember, after 2 games, everybody was saying, Miami's got this, because remember, Embiid got hurt at the end of the Toronto game. He had the fractured orbital bone and then the concussion, and he didn't play the first 2 games, and Philadelphia looked overmatched. But Embiid came back in game 3. He came back, and he was there for game 4 as well. And now, all of a sudden, what looked like a 2-0 sure thing for Miami is now coming back to South Beach for Game 5, all knotted up at 2, with Big Mo on the side of the Philadelphia 76ers. Because not only did you get Joel Embiid back, James Harden had a James Harden game. I mean, James Harden, while he doesn't have to be Houston James Harden, he threw up 31 points last night, 16 in the fourth quarter, and Philadelphia, now all of a sudden, the tone in people's voices have changed in regards to what they think the outcome of this Philadelphia-Miami series was going to be. I said that low-key I was going to be rooting for Philadelphia. I have nothing against Miami, and I'm a Jimmy Butler fan. And Jimmy Butler, I hate it when people say, well, Jimmy Butler's not a superstar. Yes, he is. You know why Jimmy Butler's a superstar? Because he plays his best when it matters most. Jimmy Butler threw up 40 last night. He's the only player in the playoffs thus far that has multiple 40-point games. Jimmy Butler is that dude. Here's the issue. He's not getting help over the last 2 games. He hasn't gotten help really from anybody else. Not Bam Adebayo, not Tyler Hero. Kyle Lowry looks heavy. He re-aggravated his hamstring. And now, I firmly think the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win this series. Remember, everybody was going into system overload after they went up 3-0 on the Toronto Raptors, lost a couple of games, and everybody started saying, oh, this is Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is pulling the Doc Rivers special, blowing a lead in a series that he should win. Now, I mean, it's to his benefit now that he's fallen behind, that they fell behind 2-0. So now, if and I think when the Philadelphia 76ers win this series, everybody's going to have to be like, oh, our bad. And hopefully they'll stop this notion of Mike D'Antoni being the next coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, even though, if that is the case, Doc Rivers will just end up being the coach of the Lakers, and I have no problem with that. But this is why I think Philadelphia's going to win that series, because Embiid looked totally gassed after Game 3, a game that they won by 20, mind you. He looked totally gassed because during that time where he was in concussion protocol, you can't do anything in regards to basketball. So his conditioning was an issue. But he still played 38 minutes. Scored about 16, 18 points, but his defensive presence and the difference that he makes on offense, now the ball can spread, everybody can operate more freely with him on the floor. Game 4, he just looks better. He's getting stronger, even though he has the thumb injury, even though he has the broken orbital bone in his eye, and he's playing with a mask on. His conditioning is getting better. His play is getting better. Miami has no answer for Joel Embiid. I don't give a damn if he has a thumb injury and an eye injury. They have no answer for him. And you don't have to get 31 out of James Harden every night, because newsflash, he ain't their second best player. Tyrese Maxey is. And then you have a guy like Tobias Harris, who was averaging 24 points a game coming in the last night games, as your 4th option. I think the Miami Heat are in trouble. That series is knotted up at 2. Game 4 tonight between the Celtics and the Bucks is at 7:30. The Bucks currently lead 2-1. I've been saying Milwaukee all season is coming out of the East. So what I'm going to say isn't going to come to a surprise to anybody. The Bucks are, even now without Middleton, of course I was like, but the Bucks are just a better team. Now, that call at the end of Game 3 in regards to Marcus Smart, if you want to say that was a bad call, he should have been shooting 3 free throws, have at it. That's not the reason why why the Celtics lost that game. Jason Tatum played like trash. Okay? Marcus Smart played like trash. And they were half a second too late for Al Horford's tap in. But I think the Bucks are going to win tonight. I think they're going to take a commanding 3-1 lead, and I think they'll close the series out in 6. That's just my notion for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, as far as the Western Conference goes, man, I am loving this Golden State-Memphis series because it is so damn chippy. It is taking me back to when I was a kid watching the playoffs in the 90s. I'm serious. Now, hated to see what happened to Gary Payton Jr. That was some dirty shit, and Dylan Brooks deserved to be suspended for a game. But now, unfortunately, Ja Morant is hurt, and everybody's trying to deduce, well, was that a dirty play by Jordan Poole? I don't think that was. I think that was an unfortunate incident, and Ja Morant is probably not going to play tonight in Game 4, and that stinks. That stinks because I thought the Warriors would win this series anyway, but Ja Morant is the best show in basketball, and I want to see him on the court going up against Golden State. He was the only player who played worth a damn in Game 3. the Memphis Grizzlies threw up 112 points in Game 3, and they lost by 30. Okay? Let me repeat that. The Memphis Grizzlies put up 112 points in Game 3, and they lost by 30 in just 4 quarters of basketball. In just 4 quarters of basketball. I have the Warriors taking this series anyway. Now, things have gotten pretty interesting in the other series, Phoenix and Dallas. Phoenix, another team, looked like a shoo-in after the first 2 games. New Orleans was a better matchup for them. Now Dallas tied that series. Now we got something to think about, because maybe Dallas wasn't such a better matchup for Phoenix as it was perceived after the first 2 games. Now, I will say this, Brunson and Dinwiddie have definitely played better at home, but the bottom line is the Mavericks are going to have to take one in the Valley of the Sun if they're going to win the series. That's obvious. But Chris Paul did not play well at all in Games 3 and Game 4. Game 3 was his 37th birthday. Maybe he turned up a little too much. I don't think he did that. And then I don't blame Chris Paul if he would seem distracted after that dumbness that went on with that fan messing with his mother and his wife on Mother's Day. I tell you, man, I just don't understand what the hell is wrong with people. But be that as it may, the Dallas Mavericks handled their business at home. That is a 2-2 series. So, to me, it's the level of importance of these series to me is like this. To me, it feels like the series that is being more watched and viewed is Memphis and Golden State, because you have Ja Morant, who's a showstopper. The Warriors, they're back in the playoffs after a 2-year hiatus. And then you have the Celtics and the Bucks. To me, that feels like the more important series, because the Bucks are the defending champions. But now that Embiid is back in Philly, this is interesting. The playoffs. This is very, very interesting. Like I said, I know the Grizzlies play well without Ja Morant. They've had a winning record without him on the court. You ain't beating Golden State. And I said this last week. I said, okay, Memphis can keep coming back from those big leads against Minnesota. That ain't going to work against Golden State. That's not going to work. If Golden State gets up by 26, your ass is losing. Your ass ain't coming back, period. Minnesota, inexperienced, not knowing how to hold a lead, and it showed. Now Golden State is some champions, bruh. They are champions, and they look poised. And like I said, I've enjoyed that series because of the chippiness. But like I said, I think they're going to win tonight. They'll go up 3-1. I believe they will advance to the Western Conference Finals. 5 games, 6 most. And I would like it to be Phoenix, but Dallas is giving them something to think about. Dallas is really giving them something to think about. But the bottom line is the Mavericks are going to have to take one in Phoenix to get that job done. And speaking of getting the job done, he's here. The man, the myth, the legend, my boy, Tony. What it do?
Hey, what's up?
NBA playoffs. Locked in. I had my cousin on earlier. We were talking Dave Chappelle because of that incident that happened, and we can address that too if you'd like. But things are heating up in this second round. Let me just jump right into it. Philadelphia versus Miami, tied at 2. The tables have turned where everybody thought it was a wrap for the Heat after the first 2 games. We didn't know what Joel Embiid's status was going to be. And oddly enough, Jokic was named the most valuable player today, which I don't have a problem with. It was a razor thin vote. I thought it should be Embiid. I believe you probably would think it was Jokic. Am I correct?
I do.
Okay, so but I think that's razor thin. But I also think that's going to give Embiid more attitude to play with, and I think the Miami Heat are in trouble. What say you?
I'm gonna give you a blanket statement. And I know this is what you don't want to hear for time's sake and filling in the gap sake, but I have nothing in terms of every one of these series, and I'll tell you why. I analyze these games. We last time you and I talked, this was after Bucks and Celtics, and the Bucks did what they did, and you made a statement to me, and I said, that's no indication of how this series is going to go.
particularly with Tatum. With Tatum, if he has a good night, then the Celtics likely win. If he has a terrible night, the Celtics likely lose. The next night he had a terrible night, and they blew the Bucks out.
You mean he had a good night and they blew the Bucks out?
This last game, Tatum had a horrible game.
Yeah, he played horrible in Game 3.
Bucks won barely, but if I looked at his 3-point, what'd he go 0 for 6?
Yeah, he didn't make a three. Yeah, he played horrible.
1-3.
Marcus Smart played bad too.
So and then across the other series, the same thing with Miami. Okay, Embiid's presence is back, but and Jimmy Butler had a big game, but you never got the impression that and thus far, other than with Embiid being out and Miami, basically controlling them games for the most part from start to finish. Even with Embiid's presence, you never got the impression that Miami was out of the game. Now, it may be that they're in trouble. It may be that they're in trouble. But I think taking two and then they turn around and fight back, I don't think that that's necessarily, particularly with a team like Miami, I don't think that that's necessarily a in trouble thing. I think it would be more concerning for a team like Phoenix.
Like Phoenix, you said?
Yeah. Because as I said, it may be that I'm wrong, but at the same time, I don't think I'm wrong looking at the stats. I say there's Luka Doncic and a bunch of guys. Well, looking at them box scores, it really is Luka Doncic and a bunch of guys. Brunson had a better game.
Brunson played better at home, but let's stay. Yeah, let's stay with Philly and Miami. Even though I understand you were doing a compare and contrast.
Well, I was doing a blanket thing because you're going to ask me about all those games. In my opinion, basically about all these series are the same. Like literally, there's no clear cut. There's no clear cut. I do think that the only one I feel like should win that series, even though the Bucks are defending champions, I feel like Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
You think the Celtics should win that series?
Yeah, because I think from top to bottom, Boston is a more talented team than the Bucks. The Bucks are the champions, but from top to bottom, I think Boston is a better team. Once you remove Middleton, Middleton, Drew Holiday, and or Giannis, there's nothing. Boston can actually trot out a second unit that could compete with some team starters for periods. I don't know.
Well, I've said Milwaukee all season, so I'm not changing on that. Now, as far as Philly and Miami goes, who do you think is going to ultimately win that series?
At the end of the day, I'm going to say Miami, but it likely will go 7. But I'm going to say Miami.
Okay. Well, good. We can disagree like we do when we making football picks. I honestly, looking at the way that series is going, I understand what you were saying is that you never got the feeling that Miami was out of that game. And are you talking about Game 4? Because they got blown out in Game 3.
Yeah, I'm talking about Game 4.
Okay, well, that didn't surprise me because they got blown out in Game 3. I figured it would be a better game, but I think Philadelphia is going to win because even though Embiid has the injuries, his conditioning is going to get better every single game. Now, the one smart thing that I do think Miami is doing, there's a smart thing that they're doing and there's a dumb thing that I think they're doing. The smart thing that I think that they're doing is they're attacking Embiid defensively with individuals. Like Jimmy Butler was matched up and wanted to beat a lot, and Jimmy Butler was abusing him because he has to think about the injury. He's not going to swipe but so much of the ball. He's going to watch his thumb. He's going to watch his eye. I would attack him from a man-to-man perspective defensively. So I think that's smart. What I think Miami is doing dumb is Duncan. They're going to have to find some room for Duncan Robinson.
They are.
They have to. They have to, because to me this series hinges on whether Miami is making threes or not. Because Jimmy Butler now I don't understand why people ask, is Jimmy Butler a superstar? To me, yes, he's a superstar because he shows up when it matters the most. He's the only player in the league this year that has multiple 40 burgers in the playoffs thus far. But James Harden. Now, James Harden doesn't have to do what he did last night every game, but now with the emergence of Tyrese Maxey, and as quiet as it's kept, Tobias Harris was averaging 24 a game coming into last night's game. And with Embiid's presence, I think Philly's going to take him out. That's just my opinion. I think Philly's going to take him out. And you think that Boston is going to win? Do you think Boston is going to win, or are you picking them to win?
Yeah. Well, I think Boston is going to win. Again, I think Boston is the better team. I've seen a lot of Milwaukee. I mean, they're the main Bulls opponent, and yeah, that size thing with the Bucks is a thing. But beyond that, like I said, from pound for pound, from top to bottom, roster-wise, Boston does have a better roster. So, provided you get something out of those bigs, if you can get Horford and Tice, and you can get something out of that, and Tatum has a normal Tatum game.
Horford has been outstanding this series.
People will look at that like the last game. They'll look at that with Tatum and that was the Bucks defense. No, it wasn't. Like literally, Tatum was bricking shots because they don't have anybody. You can't put Giannis on Tatum. You can't. You just can't. So, quite literally, he was just breaking shots.
Well, Horford has been outstanding. You haven't gotten much out of Tice this series. But I think Milwaukee's going to win. I think Milwaukee's going to win tonight. I think they're going to go up 3-1. And I think the series will be over in 6. Now, you could very well be right.
That's interesting that you say that. What last game, again, the Bucks had a normal Bucks game. Boston didn't, but they lost by 2.
Yeah, but at the same, well, you said the Bucks had a normal Bucks game.
They had a normal Bucks game. They nobody played. I mean, Giannis did what Giannis does, but beyond that,
I was going to say Giannis went off.
Right. But they had a normal Bucks game. They're not. Dudes like Drew Holiday are not night in and night out. You're not going to look at the box score night in, night out and see 20, 30 points out of Drew Holiday.
But it doesn't have to be from Drew Holiday.
10 and 20 and play great defense is what he does.
It could come from somewhere different tonight. It could, Lopez could throw up 20. Portis could throw up 20. But that's
the problem with Boston. Is that not the same thing?
I understand. Well, yes. I mean, they do mirror each other. I think Milwaukee is better because I think they have the best player. Okay, I think that Milwaukee's better. I think they're going to win the series. I think they're going to win tonight. I think they're going. I think
in trouble by that standard then.
Huh?
They clearly have it. So Phoenix is in trouble by that standard because clearly they have the best player.
Yeah, they do have the best player.
I mean, Dallas has the best player.
Dallas has the best player, but I'm talking about that. I'm just talking about this individual series. I think Giannis is the best player in basketball right now. I think he's the best player in basketball. And the Bucks, again, like I said, I've been saying Milwaukee all season because they're now battle tested. They're battle tested. They've gone to the mountaintop, and I think that things don't like them and Golden State. These, the challenges don't faze them now because they've now been there and done that. And Boston's a team on the rise.
In battle. Every NBA champion in history is battle tested. Not many repeat.
I never said they would repeat. I said they would come out of the East.
Oh, okay.
I never said that they would. I never said they were going to win the title.
Okay.
I said they're going to come out the East. Now let's go to the West. Memphis and Golden State. I have absolutely loved the chippiness of this series. It's making me feel like I'm a kid again watching 90s basketball. Like they are taking cheap shots at each other, and I love it. Draymond Green is flicking. Draymond Green is at his best right now, as far as being Draymond Green. Who do you think wins that series?
I'm still going to say Phoenix, but because
I'm talking about Golden State and Memphis.
Oh, excuse me. I don't know why, because I was jumping ahead thinking of Chris Paul, because come on, Chris Paul, this your championship time. You can't be.
You ain't never lied about that.
Rebounds.
But we'll get there.
But okay. I mean, Grizzlies are a great. They're that kind of team. They've been that kind of team all season. A physical, gritty, defensive team. Golden State is known as a defensive team. They got a couple good defenders, but they're known as a defensive team where they more so are just experts at that zone defense. But the fact that they're letting them play and the little back and forth thing, I think that favors Golden State because Memphis is such a young team. But man, I'll say that certain players on Memphis, they don't give a damn. Like again, they on some house money type stuff too.
Dylan Brooks.
And it's like, Ja to Steph Curry is like, man, fuck your couch, fuck your Subway commercial, all of the above. I'm coming at you.
But Ja might not play tonight. Remember, he got hurt at the end of Game 3.
I get that, but he's not out for the series.
No.
So.
But this is the worst series he could get hurt in. Because I said this before we got on the phone. I said the Memphis Grizzlies put up 112 points in Game 3, and they lost by 30.
Yeah.
In 4 quarters of basketball. No overtime, no nothing. They put up 112 points, and they lost by 30. And your best player, who had 30, is probably not going to play tonight. This ain't Minnesota, bro. This ain't the Timberwolves. Golden State, like I say, with Milwaukee, champions, battle-tested. They smell blood. They smell blood. I think Golden State is going to. Who do you think ultimately wins that series?
At this point, I'm Golden State is going to win it, and I'll tell you why. Tempo.
Mm-hmm.
One word. That's it.
Yep.
They're controlling the tempo. They control the tempo of these games. This is the reason why you had that score. If Ja was a point guard instead of a scoring guard, and he could control the tempo, then you have a different series.
Yep.
That's literally what you have to do with teams like Golden State. Your point guard has to slow that game down, eat that whole 24-second clock, get you a good shot, and limit their fast break opportunities.
I'm going to tell you right now, and I just thought about this.
You're going to lose every single time.
I'm going to tell you, I just thought about this.
Matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned Minnesota. Golden State versus Minnesota, yeah, they would do better than the Grizzlies in that run and gun style.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you, you're so right about Ja Morant being a scoring guard, not a point guard, even though he's listed as a point guard. I'm going to give you a player, and he used to play with Memphis. If this player was still playing with the Grizzlies now, I think the Grizzlies will win the championship because it could put Ja in his natural position, Mike Conley.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I think if Mike Conley was still with the Grizzlies, I think they would win the title. Because they're athletic enough, they're big enough, and like I said, they don't give a damn. And that's why I like them. They don't give a shit. The problem is, they done ran into a team with a player who gives less of a shit, but he's a champion. Draymond Green.
The other problem, I don't know if it's Draymond. I think the other problem is, again, because Ja has that mentality, attack. As a matter of fact, Iverson. Quite literally, Ja has that mentality, and it's to his team's detriment. Yeah, in spurts, Ja can go blow for blow with the other team and score right along with them. But what happens when he slows down, or what happens when his shot isn't falling? He doesn't know how to become the distributor, Ja. Yet.
And Ja Morant is a hybrid of Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook with the Iverson attitude. I love that guy. I'm serious. Ja Morant is if Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook had a baby, but they injected him with Allen Iverson's personality.
Yeah.
I love this guy. I hated the fact. Now, I think the Warriors are gonna win the series too. Matter of fact, the reason why I said I have the Bucks coming out of the East, I can't say that they're gonna win a championship because I have to see who they're going against. If the Bucks play Phoenix again, they'll beat Phoenix again, in my opinion. But if the Bucks play the Warriors will win, in my opinion. Even though Giannis would average 40 in that series. But
yeah, I honestly, there's only one aspect of that series that I'd like to see, and that's just so I could say I told you so to a whole bunch of people under the age of 30. When they talk about Draymond Green and his level of defense, and go guard Giannis, Draymond, whole series, go guard Giannis.
Oh, he can't do shit with Giannis.
He can't do nothing with.
He can't do shit with Giannis.
But you consider yourself the greatest defender of all what?
Hey, well, look, I mean, he could consider himself. I know, but I mean, I would consider him a top 3 defender of this generation. But would I pick it defensively? Would I pick him over Rodman? No. Would I pick him over Ben Wallace? No.
Artest.
Huh?
Ron Artest. I wouldn't pick him over Ron.
I wouldn't pick him over Ron Artest either. No, I wouldn't pick him over. So I said top 3. I guess top 5. I wouldn't pick him over Rodman, Wallace, or Ron Artest. No. But he's a damn great. He's a future Hall of Famer, and I mean the fact that he's a great defender and also can run your offense is better.
Yeah, if you're looking at him in totality, then it changes things. But just as a defender, yeah, it's been a number of dudes that their forte was that. Even dudes like Tony Allen. Yeah, I mean, therefore, you could put him on the other team's best player, and for the most part, you leave him alone. You know, you didn't have to help a lot. But yeah.
All right, so now Phoenix, Dallas. You've been chomping at the bit.
I said what I said. I mean, I think Phoenix is going to win it, but Chris Paul, you got to do better. 5'7". Come on, man.
Yeah, he played horrible in Dallas.
Yeah, you gotta do better than that.
Now, I will say this. If he was distracted from that fan who was messing with his wife or his mother, I understand. I mean, I started off the show talking about what the hell is wrong with these fans, about Dave Chappelle, Chris Paul, Mike Tyson. What the hell is, why are these social media gassing these people up? But Chris Paul is a professional, and yeah, he played horrible in Dallas.
Yeah, ain't social media gassing them up. I tell everybody, think back prior to 2016. Did you have a lot of this going on?
Ooh, my cousin said the same thing.
You did not. You did not have this going on, whether it was, Hollywood. Yeah, occasionally you'd have an incident or two, but you didn't have this in sports. You didn't have this level of...
You're talking about the Trump aspect, right?
You didn't have this somebody deciding they want to say something to somebody's Muslim mom on the train. This level of trash assiness because, again... people felt like, I am talking about that. I'm exactly talking about that.
Yeah, my cousin said the same thing. My cousin said the same thing.
And this mentality already existed. It did. In the fans, sports, it already existed. It just, hey, if he says that I can say it.
It hadn't manifested itself yet. Now it's manifested itself.
Right. It's emboldening them, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that doesn't excuse Chris Paul's poor play, though.
In terms of the players, though, these some sensitive ass cats because in some cases these things already exist and then it's just highlighted. For instance, what's the white dude for years up in D.C. The Bullets games and
the fan who would always be behind the basket and whatnot.
Most famous heckler of all time.
Yeah,
It's right there. Now he would sit right behind a bench.
Yeah, right.
Go, and them dudes just went out there and played ball.
Yeah, that's why the Bullets wanted him there.
And prior to that, I mean. People said some mean stuff. I remember when Barkley was in Philly. And, yeah, people said some racist stuff. Barkley did not react to the racist stuff. He didn't react to somebody's spit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That crossed that line. Mm-hmm. So it's always existed. Yeah, I mean, and my wife, me and my wife were going back and forth about that. And she was trying to, say, the fans shouldn't be able to say it. They blah, blah, blah. They paid a ticket to come watch the basketball. I'm like, that's fine and well, but as what Bill Russell had to go through back then.
Well, no, I mean, absolutely. But, I mean, now, the situation with Chris Paul is that this fan physically touched his mother and his wife.
I get that. That's what security is for, though.
But I mean, but I'm not mad at Chris. I wouldn't be mad at Chris Paul for reacting to that. I just wouldn't. I mean,
I'm not mad at him, but if it got in your headspace, we're 5'7".
Oh, okay, yeah. You're saying it shouldn't affect the way that you play. You know,
exactly.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't disagree with that either. I don't disagree with that either.
As a matter of fact, if my wife and if my family's in the crowd, yeah, you might get a Ron Artest out of me. I might literally, if I see it, I may not wait for the security. I might.
Yeah.
I understand that as a man, and I'm with him on that.
Yeah.
Once that situation is resolved, Chris Paul, right?
Yeah. Remember, after the Malice at the Palace, a couple of years later, Antonio Davis' wife was being heckled and was physically touched, and he didn't wait. He didn't put hands on the fan, but he left the court and went into the stands and stood behind his wife. They suspended him for that, and I thought it was stupid because he didn't incite any violence. He was protecting his wife. But
people in the box and the
because this was Antonio Davis was playing with the Bulls.
No, but I'm saying I know. But I'm saying put your people up in the box seats and call it a day, in the nice luxury box seats where the former famous players, when they go to see games, a lot of times they don't sit on floor level. Sometimes they do, but
you won't see Michael Jordan sitting in the crowd. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, go sit up in the boxes and just do that. Then you don't have to worry about that.
And but I understand that shouldn't.
Even if they don't put hands on you, if they know that this is your significant other, people might say some stuff, especially when they start after they done drank, 7-8 beers. So,
and that's the crazy part is that this kid that at the Maverick, he looked like a teenager.
Yeah. It's sort of like what was the game during the season where the guy that looked like a kid, turned out he was a young adult, but was filming and had his phone out. He was near the court area, and was it Nurkic? I think it was Nurkic.
It was Nurkic.
Or something.
Yeah.
Walking on the court and grabbed the phone out.
Yeah, and he broke it. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that should never happen. I don't care what he said. If he said something that went over the line, tell security and let security handle it. But you about to pay out of pocket for putting your hands on the young man.
Yep. Yep.
And not the price of a phone either.
No, maybe the price of a phone store.
And you know that some of them come to these games. They come
looking
already
for
locked and loaded mentally.
Yep.
To F with you, to try to provoke a response.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
But again, that's no excuse for 557, like you said. Bottom line is, the Mavericks are going to have to win one in the Valley of the Sun if they're going to pull the upset. I think Phoenix is still going to win that series. Matter of fact, I don't think Dallas is going to win another game. I think they will win that series in 6. And I have the conference finals as being Phoenix versus Golden State and Milwaukee versus Philadelphia. Now, if it's Milwaukee versus Philadelphia, Giannis versus Embiid, that would be interesting.
Well, I'm going to say this about one more thing about that Dallas-Phoenix series. For his usage, and I think we talked about it once, for his usage, Luka Doncic is a monster. And I say that because you could give many guys in the NBA that his rate of usage, and they would not end up putting up the numbers that he puts up.
Luka is the truth.
And clearly when his usage is not that high, his numbers, dip in these areas, and it looks, just on a box score tip, it looks like he wasn't that effective. But they pay so much attention to this dude. You know what I'm saying? That if Cuban hadn't committed and overcommitted in the past, and they actually could acquire people, they would be legitimate championship.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, this one guy is affecting that game. Even if he don't end up having those usage numbers, he's still affecting that game. And they pay so much attention to him that it's like, do they have 5 guys on the court?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like other teams play him and maybe one other guy and then basically ignore the other 3.
I mean, I think what Luka's gonna have to start doing though, he's gonna have to start taking conditioning more seriously. Because for a couple of years in a row now, he's shown up to camp out of shape, and he is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I ain't gonna take the Skip Bayless route and say that he's not a superstar. Skip Bayless is just being a hater when it comes to Luka Doncic, but he has to start taking conditioning more seriously. But yes,
how is he not? I would skip say he's not. His head versus other superstars, he still puts up them numbers.
He did. He's told Shannon Sharp he's not a superstar, and I'm like, really? Like, okay. I mean, but
you know what the funny thing with Doncic with that conditioning thing, because of that high usage, I get that, but from a size standpoint, because they criticize him that he showed up a little chunky, that size helps him though. That extra weight helps him because a lot of his he plays off of contact a lot, and not like James Harden.
Well, one of the things that they mentioned,
will lower that shoulder to get space, and all the time, and they don't call it. So,
Well, at least it showed up in games 1 and game 2 when he wasn't really getting any help from his teammates, and then they started attacking him individually the way Jimmy Butler was attacking Embiid last night, but for totally different reasons. Remember when Chris Paul in game 2, when he went on, he was literally saying no. They were switching so Luka would be on Chris Paul, and Chris Paul took him to the woodshed. Again, he had to do. Now, of course, his usage rate was a lot more because Brunson and Dinwiddie and Kleber weren't playing that well in Phoenix. Now, that changed when it went to Dallas. But
I'm not mad at him for not being able to guard Chris Paul, because most dudes at his position can't guard Chris Paul. Maybe once, on a switch a little bit, but for the most part, Chris Paul, most point guards, period, are going to do what they want to do against most small forwards.
But defense isn't Luka's strong suit. That's basically what all I'm saying.
Not at all.
It's not at all. Yeah, it's not his strong suit. And when you get late in the game and fatigue is kicked in, they're going to attack you. And but bottom line is Dallas is going to have to steal a game in Phoenix. And like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they win another game. I think that series ends in 6. But yeah, Cuban has got to find that second star, unless you think you got it already there in Brunson. But nonetheless, it is a series right now. It's a 2-2 series. It's very interesting.
Yeah, too many assets tied up, and Porzingis never was going to be that second dude. So.
Well, he can't stay healthy.
Yeah. Even if he was healthy, I don't think he would have, because when he was healthy and they were playing together, he still wasn't that guy.
It's funny, Porzingis then goes to Washington and he starts killing it.
Yeah. Different play style. Different play style, though.
Yeah, but they're going to have to get some kind. I don't know, like I said, maybe they think they have it with Brunson and, Tim Hardaway Jr. is out. But, again, they've made it a series, just like Philadelphia. They made it a series. I just think Philly's going to win, and I think Dallas is going to lose. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. So you're calling the East to be Miami and Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have Philly and Milwaukee.
Still think Phoenix is coming out of the West, and at the end, I think it's Boston and Phoenix. And
so you think Boston is coming out the East?
I think Boston is coming out the East. If they beat the Bucks, they're coming out the East.
Okay.
Bucks is the biggest challenge. The Bucks is the best team remaining, and there's no knock on Embiid and this, that, and the other, but the Bucks are better than them.
Oh, they are better than Philly?
Yeah, they just are. So if Boston, if they manage to get past the Bucks, that's their biggest obstacle.
Well, again, I think it'll be Milwaukee versus Philadelphia. Embiid versus Giannis is going to be epic, because I just think the more Embiid plays, the more his conditioning is going to go up, because while he was in the concussion protocol, he couldn't do anything. That's why at the end of game 3, he just looked totally spent. But that was not the case at the end of game 4, because now you're playing more, you're getting your conditioning up. I know the injuries, but I just think, like I said, I think Miami is in trouble, and they've got to find a way to incorporate Duncan Robinson. Jimmy Butler is going to have to get more. They're going to have to get more help. Kyle Lowry may have re-aggravated his hamstring. Plus, Kyle Lowry looked kind of heavy to me. What you think?
Well, Kyle Lowry always look heavy.
I mean, but he looks a heavier than normal.
Yeah. It might just be old age, and he finally, like, he has no first step at all. I don't know. We'll see, but
because you know that's one of the main things about the quote unquote heat cultures. They supposed to whip you into shape. Like they had PJ Tucker out there dunking earlier in the season. And PJ's 37 years old, and is a smaller guy, even though physically strong. But I just think that I don't know. I think Miami's in trouble. I do. I think Philadelphia's confidence now is sky high. Because newsflash, James Harden ain't the second best player on that team. It's Maxey.
Right.
But if James Harden, like I said, he doesn't have to put up 31 every night. Because right now, I don't think James Harden is a max player. Personally, I think if Philadelphia pays him $270 million, they're crazy. I wouldn't pay. I'd maybe chop that down $100 million. Because I ain't paying no
I think that's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing. It may not end up as dramatic as the Ben Simmons deal, but that's going to be a thing.
It is.
Off season for them. Because Harden is still thinks in his mind. And he's going to want that money. And Philly has to make a decision. Either cut bait. It's either pay him or don't.
You know what the best...
It's not. There is no middle ground really there.
You know what the best case scenario for Philadelphia is with this situation? Is if they win the title, if they win the whole fucking thing, and then they say, okay, we got a title, now we ain't worried about paying you the max.
Gotta pay him, right?
Yeah, the best case scenario for the 76ers is winning it all. So that way,
can't even facilitate. It is literally a pay him or don't in that scenario.
Yeah,
but you're right. If they win the championship, they have an out.
They have an out. That means they've justified the Ben Simmons trade. They got a title out the deal. So now they can say, okay, well, Harden, we want you to stay, but we're not paying you max dollars. Now it's up to you. And then on top of that, if they win the title, this notion of, well, we want D'Antoni in for Doc Rivers, that ain't gonna happen.
And the thing about it with Philly, nobody's going to give Harden the max, so there'll be no sign and trade opportunity there either.
Nope.
That's...
Not at all. That's the best case scenario for Philadelphia is to win the whole
2020 hindsight, they should have taken the C.J. McCollum trade.
Yep. Absolutely. Are you joking? Absolutely. Because then you have more youth on your side.
Yep.
But best case scenario for the 70s.
A couple picks.
Yep.
And came out better than the Harden.
Yep. Deal. But best case scenario is Philly would want to win to where you told, like you said, they have an out if they win the whole fucking thing. Because you totally have an out then. Because they can just say, we got what we wanted out of you. You got what you wanted out of us. And
the only other scenario that they may be able to salvage is if Harden's people sees that the market for him is not going to be what they thought it was going to be, and they say, let's run it back and manage to get Harden to sign maybe a 1 or 2 year deal.
I think they see that now. I think they know that now. And really what it is because of the rise of Tyrese Maxey. I think they see that now, that the market is not going to be for him what they thought it would be maybe last year. They already see it. I'm pretty sure he has smart people in his camp.
He's only going to want to go to a contender, and no contender is going to pay that money for him.
No, not at all. Not at all. If I'm Harden, I'm just honestly, whatever the outcome is of this season, you just maybe have to come to the realization that, you're not. Look, $170 million ain't nothing to sneeze at, but you ain't worth $270. That's for damn sure. You're just not. Not at this point. Unless for the rest of the playoffs, he's putting up 30 a game. That's the only way. If the rest of the playoffs he's going on for 30 a game, then okay, then he makes his case. But again, he doesn't have to do that. Because now, with the rise of Maxey, Tobias Harris, who started off the season as the number 2 option because of all the Ben Simmons drama, has fallen back to number 4, and he was averaging 24 a game coming into last night.
Right.
They're top heavy. Can't say much about their depth, but they are top heavy right now. And I think that's going to be enough to beat the Heat. Now, whether they go further than that, because again, my conference finals and yours are totally different when it comes to the Eastern Conference. You got Miami, Boston. I got Philly, Milwaukee. And the thing is, we shall see. We shall see. So, what was your reaction to the whole Dave Chappelle Hollywood Bowl thing?
Well, first of all, they must dude up. Like they
Yes.
jack dude up.
Yes.
So there's that. But then there's the follow-up thing. You saw the follow-up thing with Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I think that what's going under the radar that people need to pay attention to and respect, no matter how you felt, whatever side of the fence you felt on that situation, which the majority of people at this point, just because of Jada should have realized what the real problem was. It wasn't Chris Rock's joke.
Nope.
It was Jada. Jada's toxicity is what created that air and is what provoked Will, not Chris Rock. Based on Jada's statements after, and now they supposedly going to therapy, and then the last thing I heard was quote unquote rumor that they're like one step from divorce.
Yeah, they're supposed to be getting a divorce. That's what I heard.
Right. So
I'm like, nigga, run, Will, run, do it, run.
What was it, Chris Rock? This at all? For the people that do believe that Chris Rock held some culpability and that he was mean for making the alopecia joke, but no comedian on the planet is agreeing with that. So
none.
That's that. But what I'll say is in the post game, post the Dave Chappelle stage storming thing, him and Chris Rock making jokes. I got slapped by the weakest rapper ever.
Oh yeah.
But the point is, he's making jokes about it. Yeah, he's still doing this tour thing.
Was that Will Smith?
He's not suing him. Black people, he's not suing. He could take Will Smith to the Clintons and get a lot of money. And thus far, nothing has leaked out said he's suing him. So take that for what it's worth, and take that with all the people taking sides and yada, 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 that maybe, just maybe, even though he's joking about it, this, that, and the other, Chris Rock's a man too, and he knows what Jada is. And he knows Will Smith. He knew Will Smith. He's not taking advantage of that situation, like some would. So he realized that Will is in distress in his life, and he took that punch on the chin, didn't swing back at the Oscars, which was class, and the fact that he's not suing him is class as well. So you might, no matter how you feel about Chris Rock as a comedian, whether you like him, hate him, whatever, you probably need to walk back anything you thought about him in terms of his Oscars joke, because he's being a real man about this whole thing. And that's all that's what I can say about that. Now, as far as the person storming the stage, we just talked about 2016 emboldening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Will Smith set in motion. This emboldening thing now.
Yep.
Now I don't like your jokes, so I'm a jump on stage with a fake gun that's actually a knife and threaten your life. Well, they beat the shit out of that dude.
Yes, they did.
So you think about storming the stage, just remember, usually most of them have goons.
Yes.
So it is.
He didn't just get beat.
I thought it was cool that a lot of the comedians rally at that moment.
Yeah.
They came up on stage, whether Jamie Foxx and
Busta Rhymes
as well.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
Busta Rhymes.
They beat the hell out that dude. And people need to understand, Will Smith did it. Will Smith is rich and famous too. He a celebrity too. You were just an average Joe, and you gonna run up on stage, and in real life, this ain't the metaverse. In real life, you gonna get your ass whipped. You get your ass whipped, and then you going to jail on top of that.
Yeah. So Dave Chappelle didn't have this problem. He's been telling, trans jokes for a minute now. He had this problem, not until Will Smith made it possible.
Yep.
Or at least mentally possible in some people's heads.
Yeah, but Will Smith is on that same celebrity status. Like I said, these people getting gassed up, just like the motherfucker on the plane who came at Mike Tyson. Y'all gassing y'allself up. Y'all want y'all social media views to be that get that many likes, is the ass whooping you gonna take worth it?
No, you're skipping the because I text you about the latest one, right?
Yeah, I saw the airplane. I mean, the woman who put the finger in his face.
The woman who wanted to put a finger in his face.
Yeah, I saw that.
These people did the right thing and turned him back around. But and what the fact of the matter, I'm reading this and I'm reading the comments and there's people that's out here saying, "What was he gonna do? Hit a woman?" You missing the point. He shouldn't have had to turn around. She shouldn't have had her hand in his face.
Right.
She had to poke him in the eye. That's assault. She's not a woman no more. She's a maniac that poked Mike Tyson in the eye. And had he reacted, he'd have reacted appropriately. Just because he is who he is, don't mean you get to do just because.
Right. And then on top of that, we're still dealing with COVID and you know, in some manner of speaking. And then you gonna put your fucking finger. I don't know you. I don't know who you been with, where you been. You gonna put your finger in my face? Are you serious? Like these people, like you said.
The point is, in that situation, you know, my question is, had Mike reacted and then ended up in some courtroom somewhere, you know, and you asked her the question, the judge or anybody else asked her the question, what were you attempting to do?
Yeah.
What would the answer have been? I was trying to point him in the right direction. You know, what would the answer have been? The honest answer would have been, what could they have said? No, you were trying to provoke.
Yep.
You were trying to provoke. Just like this thing that ultimately was on the airplane. You were intoxicated. The police realized that. You know what I mean? Because that came out in the report. But Mike had taken a picture with you as a fan.
Yeah.
You know, what the hell were you going on and on and on with him for? You were trying to provoke him.
Yeah, this was the picture of me and Mike Tyson before he whooped my ass. Looked real peaceful, but yeah, you're right. I don't know what the answer would be because yeah, you had an ulterior motive on the airplane. You had an ulterior motive. Your woman pointing the finger in his face. Like, come on, man. Like, chill out. Like, wow, these
hands are deadly weapons, though. Well, okay, Bruce Lee was still alive. You gonna go up there and keep poking and prodding and Bruce Lee?
Yeah, until he
and was a damn weapon.
And then cry wolf when he kicked the shit out of you.
Exactly. Leave people the F alone.
Yeah, I mean,
Trump
for real.
Had Secret Service. But if Trump didn't have them Secret Service, do you not realize somebody would have been knocked the orange out of his ass? like literally. Come on now. So, the truth. That dude ushered in an era of trash acidness that always low-key existed.
Uh-huh.
But these fools were cowards. They didn't have the balls to act out on it. Now, all of a sudden, they got the balls to act out on it, you know, and not realizing you're going to get fucked up.
Yep.
and no one's going to protect you.
Yep. And if you needed proof, look at that man who ran up on Dave Chappelle. He got a epic ass whooping and deserved it. He deserved every foot that connected with his face, everything. Because, I mean, I started off the show, Tony, by saying stand-up comedy is under attack. Because these people now have been
under attack.
They've been emboldened so much now that a stand-up comedian might need to be packing when he come on stage to do his routine.
Yeah.
And if you are that damn sensitive, then don't go to a stand-up comedy show.
That's how I feel about it. And I say if you are that sensitive, don't go anywhere in terms of that because it didn't have to be a stand-up show. That's what I tried to explain to my wife in terms of Chris Rock's presence at the Oscars. He was there as his job, as a comedian.
Yep.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have been there. But she said, well, he was just there to be a presenter. No, that's why they ask comedians to be presenters so they can get up there and tell a couple jokes for entertainment.
Yep.
I said it was no different than Don Lemon being there at the White House.
Yep.
So what did he do? He told jokes.
Told some jokes.
So were some of them jokes a little, just a little racy? Yeah. But he's a comedian. Everyone knows.
He's a comedian.
Put him there.
He's a comedian. Period. I mean, if you are that hyper damn sensitive, don't do it to yourself.
Nobody is off limits.
Nobody.
How do you know? When Barack Obama was president? Okay, and they've been in each other's orbit. So I wonder, what did he actually say to him? But when Barack Obama was president, Eddie Griffin had a stand-up.
Yep.
Came out, and he hit the first line out of his mouth when he came, I want to
Fuck Michelle Obama. Yep. I got that downstairs on DVD.
So when Obama came face to face, did he punch him? Did he, hey, yo, Ed, hey, you know?
No.
All back with the Michelle jokes.
No.
Probably not. Because had he done that, he'd have been part of Eddie Griffin's next skit.
Yep. Oh, Eddie Griffin would have made millions and millions and millions of more dollars off of that. That's why, like, these people don't understand. Like, Will Smith he smacked a huge bag in Chris Rock's bank account, even if he doesn't sue him. This guy that just attacked Dave Chappelle, they were doing a Netflix special. He just made Dave Chappelle about $50 million more.
That's how it is. That's how it is. And it's been that way all the way back as far as from my childhood watching Red Fox. Don't bring your fat wife to no Red Fox.
Don't do it. No.
Hey, buddy. You brought 3 women with you.
Don't bring him to Red Fox. Don't bring him to Robin Harris. Don't bring him to D.L. Hughley. Don't bring him to Jamie Foxx. They will be dealt with. Don't even bring him to Michael Blackson.
Like Dice Clay.
Oh Lord, Dice Clay is the most vulgar motherfucker I done seen.
Exactly. They're going to go in, and you can't do nothing but grin and laugh it no matter how. Don't heckle them back, because then it gets worse.
It gets way worse. Because that's what they do for a living. Andrew Dice Clay, oh my goodness. That guy. Mind you, this is the guy who discovered Eddie Griffin.
And my wife who's one of those, and she said, there's just certain lines you don't cross. Like, they don't do your mama jokes no more. Like, what comedy are you watching?
I was going to say, shit, who the hell if they don't?
So, it's actually gotten a little bit more. But again, most people know this. They're comedians. Any rational person realize that's what they do for a living.
I told you that you're more than welcome to bring your wife on the show. More than welcome.
Yeah, I'm going to do that one time, and just in relation to that, because again, my wife believes the world is a kumbaya world. And again, there's just certain lines you don't cross. And she's correct. There are certain lines you don't cross, but there are lines that have always been a certain way. And no level of sensitivity in 2022 is going to change that.
No. And
Jada would have been a bald head bitch back in 1970 to Richard Pryor or Red Fox. And if Chris Rock makes a similar joke in 2022, it's just history repeating itself.
Jada would have been a bald head bitch in 2000.
Exactly.
In the Kings of Comedy tour.
And they don't care. Well, it's not right. The comedian can't make a living if they can't if they can't poke fun at people. And I don't mean that harmless Bill Cosby kind of fun.
Yeah, if the line existed for comedians, then comedy would be pretty crappy.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to Bill Cosby's form of comedy, which I do find funny, that ain't for everybody.
Right.
This is not.
There used to be a thing called playing the dozens.
Mm-hmm.
Older black people know what that means. And that's one of them, if you can't stand the heat, stay out the kitchen.
Yep. Because
there was going to be some fighting words said, but it wasn't supposed to escalate to an actual fight.
Right.
It's just words. Dolomite made a living off of your mama, this, your mama. I saw your mama sitting on a trunk pussy so funky made the termites drunk. Oh. I saw your mama sitting on the fence selling ass for 15 cents.
Oh, not Rudy Ray.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rudy Ray Moore. That was son-in-law. It's comedy.
It's comedy.
And some of it is for family, and some of it is adult. And when you cross into that adult, it's going to be like that.
You want family comedy? Go for Jerry Seinfeld. Go for Jerry Seinfeld. Go for Bill Cosby. I ain't knocking nobody. But my favorite form of comedy is the offensive comedy. It just is.
And sometimes it ain't even got to be, sometimes it's just truth-telling truth-telling, being straight up and truth-telling, and it's that saying, if you can't laugh at yourself, well, what can you laugh at?
Right.
Because one of the greatest of all time that did not get the notoriety because it was too much truth and people were comfortable with it, you know, the non-melanated people. Somebody like Paul Mooney, he was just as funny as Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a different kind of comedian, Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor would touch on some political stuff, but he was non-melanated acceptable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They could laugh at the jokes that Richard Pryor would say about them, you know, honky and blah, 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 blah. Paul Mooney would inject a little too much truth, and they were never ready to accept those truths.
Ask a black dude.
Ask a black dude. Excuse me, wife, can you come here, please?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go.
So, this is my lovely wife. Ask away.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. First of all, let me formally introduce myself. I am Brandon Brevon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life. You are on the podcast right now. When you guys called me last week asking about the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, I told Tony, I said, hey, you can be on the podcast with us anytime you want. I just have a quick question for you. How do you feel about the Dave Chappelle fan attacking incident?
My personal feeling is that it smells of setup, that Chris Rock just happened to be in the audience when that happened, and then he jumps up on stage and gives a routine talking smack about Will, about how he got smacked, even after Will told him to stop talking smack about his wife. But yeah, I think that it
wasn't the same. It wasn't the same thing.
But no, he was still talking.
He did
about
that after. That was after the attack. Okay.
He did it beforehand. He did it a couple years ago.
Sir, can we clarify that Chris Rock being there at Dave Chappelle's thing, along with Jamie Foxx and Buster Rhymes, a bunch of other people were there.
There's a Netflix special. The Netflix special is called Netflix is a Joke.
He asked me a question.
No, but we were talking earlier about Chris Rock making I got smacked by the weakest rapper ever. All that was after Dave Chappelle. After it already.
Yeah, that had already escalated. But I will say this. Ma'am. Will Smith bought that on himself.
You know what? And I've never ever said that Will was correct in what he did. I always said that he handled the situation wrong. But at the same time, I've also said that Chris was not innocent in that situation. And the thing is, he has profited big time off of that and continues to profit big time off of it. He wants to keep running his mouth and whatnot about it. But I'm not saying this, but what other people have said, he's talking about Will being soft, blah, 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 but yet you're the one that got smacked and didn't know. Okay? But like I said, they both were wrong. At that Oscar thing, they both were wrong. And at least Will apologize at the end of the day.
You think Chris Rock was...
You
think Chris Rock was wrong about the joke on Jada?
I think he was. Because as I have always said, couple points to that. His routine was vetted beforehand. That tasteless joke was not a part of...
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a part of the routine, right?
No, it was not. So my thing is that if he had stayed on script, then none of that would have happened. But also the fact that Chris did a whole documentary several years ago
on hair.
His daughter was being teased. Yes, his daughter was being teased about her hair.
Yeah.
So he does this whole documentary about black women, our hair, what it means to us, how important it is, how it's always been under attack, and the importance of protecting black women and girls when it comes to this. And then he does that. So he's not innocent.
I don't think he knew about her having alopecia.
I think he did.
The report was that he didn't. I don't know if that's true or not, but my thing is that if you can't joke on yourself, like, to me it was honestly, I thought the joke was funny, but it was a dated joke where you had to be a certain age range to get it. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. You know, a lot of people, people in 90s babies may not know about that, might not know about G.I. Jane, definitely 2000s babies, but I don't think it warranted Will Smith's actions because he laughed at it at first.
Well, I said that, again, how he handled it was definitely wrong. He should have stepped to Chris after the show.
Right.
I'm saying
Right.
He handled it wrong.
Right.
I always said that. But Will handled it wrong. But like I said, that when it comes to comedians, they have to do their homework. They do their homework on who's relevant and definitely who's going to be in the audience. I'm pretty sure Chris knew some of the setup of who was going to be seated where at the Oscars and whatnot. They do their homework on the latest happenings of things, of what's going on, so that they can design what they're going to say. Okay? So I'm not a Jada fan. I think Jada is very, very toxic. I think she's very toxic.
And I think that's really what that slap had to do with, because that was a mild joke to go up and slap the hell out of somebody on stage. I think it more or less had to do with Jada has emasculated that man.
I think, and again, like I said, Jada is very, very toxic. And, one of the big things that my husband likes is his thing that he likes to say about poking the bear. The thing is, Will has been under attack for the past couple years over this thing with Jada. I think he just finally snapped, which is something that all of us have done at some point. I'm still talking. That people have done at some point in time. Everybody has snapped, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree with that at all. But you do realize that Will opened up the floodgates for even more attacks on himself by comedians.
But no, because the thing is, right before that even happened, there was a situation, and I can't remember which comedian it was because it was being talked about on what was it? D.L. Hughley was talking about it in his show in the afternoon about how this lady had come up on stage and was berating a comedian about his routine and whatever. This was before the Oscars. This is not something new. People are trying to blow this thing up about Will to try to open it up.
We discussed the 2016 effect. Okay,
right.
2016 effect, people feeling emboldened that they can do, because I am offended by when forever, and I don't care what comedian it was, if it was not Bill Cosby and this family-friendly thing, you brought your fat wife to a show, there
you
was
were done.
Comedian was going to call your fat wife a fat wife.
And especially if you brought your fat wife and sat front row.
No, but the point, Will did open the door.
It already happened.
By simply being present, the door is open. He's a comedian.
No, but people had already been going up on stage and confronting comedians before the situation.
Again, 2016 effect. We had a whole talk about the 2016 effect. People were attacking somebody's Muslim mom directly, whereas before they just didn't like Muslim, they kept it to themselves. Now, because of the 2016 effect, people think it's okay to step over these lines. Putting your finger in Mike Tyson's face. Again.
But that's the 2016
But in terms of what we're saying is simply put this. Will's problems aside, Will and Jada's problem, and I hope he do divorce her and all that, like they talking about. Okay, that problems aside, nobody literally, unless you literally, if you're talking about comedians and lines that they cross, every show comedians cross some line where somebody's offended. Yeah, they'll laugh at it, but they embarrassed. Some people will go there and heckle a comedian for some strange reason, knowing that they're going to be, targeted in terms of that. If you are Chris Rock's presence at the Oscars was as a comedian, just like Don Lemon's presence at the White House. Those reporters didn't like what Don Lemon said to him. You best believe that them Fox reporters didn't like what he said, but he said it. And he's a comedian, and he's there for that purpose. They didn't get up and go up there and smack him. You understand? Now, there are some on the other side, they'll say, well, that was tasteless. Yeah, but, as I said, in all of these award shows, I bet you 90% of the time, the actors or presenters go off script slightly.
And if they do, the thing is that is still on them.
But it's not. That doesn't mean it was tasteless. That's what I'm saying. Them going off script.
But them going off script may not be tasteless, but the joke that was told was tasteless. And the point is that his routine was vetted for a reason. If you decide to go off of for that and something happens, you have to accept That's her responsibility.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let my wife go ahead and continue on the podcast. She was invited.
Yes.
But even the fact that you argue the fact that, and say, I believe Chris Rock knew. Well, again, you're saying he does research on the audience. It's a whole auditorium full of actors and celebrities. Yes, some were in the front. Some, even the white couple was not directly in the front right there with Will and Jada. But the point is, he had so much comedic material already lined up that he could have centered around the month of August.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Right, but he didn't. He mentioned that. And people have said, but hold it. And then the fact that no comedian, not one, I'm talking about black, white, other, literally have said they felt Chris Rock crossed a line. Not a comedian.
Cat Williams. And you know that.
Come on now. Cat Williams is imbalanced too, though.
But see, wait a minute. You sit there and say that no comedian has done it.
Yeah, but when you showed me a meme that Cat Williams listed a bunch of grievances he had with Chris Rock that had nothing to do with the Oscars.
Yeah, because his whole comment was all about the Oscars and about that incident. That whole comment.
If you have your phone and you read that meme, the meme. Brandon, he mentioned one thing in terms of everything else. It sounds like a book of grievances with Chris Rock.
He did. He talked about the fact that he said how Will had girlfriends and whatnot on the side during that time. But he also talked about the fact that Chris did the documentary.
That's an example. That right there is the fact that he mentioned Will Smith and their relationship. What did that have? That had nothing to do with Will Smith getting up and slapping Chris Rock.
Excuse me, I was invited. This is my segment.
I think that whether you agree with it or not, I think what people have to understand is that there isn't, when you're talking about a stand-up comedian, there is no line. We might think there should be, but their job is really exercising their freedom of speech right and poking fun at whoever they want. To me, this is just my opinion, a comedian has no line. If we start putting boundaries on stand-up comics, then we might as well do away with the whole thing. Because one of the things that I enjoy most about watching stand-up comedy is the fact that, for one, they can poke fun at themselves and they can poke fun at other people who, and you don't get so sensitive about the situation where it leads to acts of violence. Now, and furthermore, what people should take away from what happened with the Dave Chappelle incident is that, okay, what happened to that guy didn't happen to Will Smith because of Will Smith's status. But if you an average person and you feeling that offended and you running up on a comedian, you know what's going to happen now is what happened to that dude. You can get your ass whipped thoroughly.
At the same time, that dude also was armed. He was armed.
And I've already said, I was talking about my cousin with this early on the show. Everybody in security would have been fired. Because how the hell does this dude get on stage? But how the hell does this dude get in and he packing?
But that's exactly what DL Hughley said about the chick. They had gone up on stage with the comedian. I cannot remember which comedian it was, but it was several months ago. So this was way before the incident at the Oscars. This was way before that this chick went up on stage and was being combative with this particular comedian. So that's why I said that Will Smith did not open up the door, because people are acting like people did not do this type of stuff before the Oscars, and that's just false. My turn. I'm guessing. And
well, she ain't gonna let that go.
She's just like that white lady putting her finger in Mike Tyson's face.
Don't do that.
I'm guess right now. But see, my thing is, again, when it comes to Chris, I think that situation. Oh, well, first let me rewind. When it comes to Jada, because like I said, I'm not a Jada fan. Okay, but I think what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Okay, that's what I feel about that. I'm not a fan of hers, but yet I had heard about her issues with alopecia and her how emotional she was about it, because all these other talk shows and news shows like the Today Show and whatnot had talked about it. So I don't watch her red table talk thing, but I had heard about her battles with it, because she has been vocal about it for 2 years at least.
And see, I didn't know anything about that because I don't pay attention to Jada. I didn't know that she had alopecia because I don't pay attention to Jada. So when I heard Chris Rock say the joke, I was basing it off of the haircut. Honestly, I didn't know it was a medical condition she was going through, legitimately. So when I heard G.I. Jane 2, I kind of chuckled. I was like, but to me, like I said, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To me, it didn't warrant that action. But huh?
I watch the Today Show. I watch The Talk sometimes. I watch The View, those different things, and they all.
And she watch a lot of pink channels too.
Whatever.
Yeah, but you know what, Brandon? On this same note, with Chris knowing or not knowing, I'm gonna point out something. Actually, a couple things about this thing. So you didn't know. You didn't know.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. And so it is reasonable to assume that Chris Rock did not know.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
But everybody,
because they're a comedian, and but he's not in their circle. But he's not in their circle. I promise you, who knew about Bruce Willis's condition? Who knew about Bruce Willis's condition?
Well, there was a number of people that at the Oscars, there were a number of people who said at the Oscars that they didn't know as well that she had the alopecia thing.
The medicine woman said that she didn't know. Okay. And she's right there at the Oscar, but I had no clue. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that and crossing the line. I'm trying to think of what comedian show it was, but a joke was told. And OJ's name came up in that joke. Yeah, OJ cut them people's head off. I know he did. But he was sitting in the audience. Okay? Nothing. You heard no reverberations, no nothing. Because, again, and how many OJ jokes have been told? How many Michael Jackson jokes have been told about his death?
But you know,
my point to illustrate that is there is nothing off. There is literally nothing off limits.
There are no, because this is what I was going to say before I was really interrupted. That there has been a culmination, kind of it's changing in comedy over the years. Okay, yes. Back in the day, especially in the 70s and 80s, there were a whole lot of things that were talked about, people that were talked about. But you could even hear it in comedy today with even some of the old ones, the old OGs and whatnot, that there are certain lines that they just will not like. They're not going to sit up there and do like the talk about your mama and those different things. When they used to do back in the day.
Please. You and I watch stand-up. You and I watch current stand-up. She says your mama jokes is off limits now.
Oh, no.
You don't hear it as
your children are on limits. Okay, like literally something like look at how many R. Kelly jokes people would say. Well, that's tasteless because the children were abused.
I've heard jokes made recently about mothers, and like you said, children. Dwayne Wade's child. I've heard jokes about that situation. Now, as far as people in audiences confronting comedians for something they didn't like, no, your wife is absolutely right. It's nothing new, because I remember a couple of years back me watching T.K. Kirkland stand up and somebody tried it. It didn't end well for the person who tried to start some stuff with him, and Mike Epps. The difference is with Will Smith. I mean, that was everybody in the world was watching.
And it was because it was Will Smith.
And because it was Will Smith. But again, don't let that fool know. But don't let that gas somebody's head up. Who's not a celebrity and, not on that, celebrity status, to think that they can run up on somebody like Dave Chappelle and think that you're not going to get your ass whipped.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he deserved it.
Exactly, yes, he did. But
my point to her is a comedian wouldn't be a comedian, a real good comedian, if they worried about offending people.
No.
At the end of the day, like I said, Will should have handled that situation completely differently. So all the things that people talk about what comedians do, blah, 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 that's fine and well, okay? That does not mean that anybody that is still Team Will is defending what he did. What he did was wrong. How he handled it was wrong. He should have confronted Chris backstage about it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, he should have. He definitely, if he had an issue with it, he should have handled it off camera, given the fact also that was his night. People were there to celebrate him. and he kind of screwed that up with what he did. No, I completely agree 100% with the way he handled it was wrong. But I give Chris Rock credit too for not turning into a nigga and rushing him on the stage, because I plenty of people. It's easy to say what you're gonna do when you ain't in that situation, but I can't say if that was Jamie Foxx or if that was somebody else that they wouldn't have smacked him back on national television.
That's very true, but at the end of the day like I said, Chris has been paid twofold because his comedy tour tickets were like at
He didn't say that. Brandon, he didn't.
My turn. His tickets were at $46 per
Oh, they skyrocketed.
And Chris, it was
Yeah. No, because you're sitting here saying this as if Chris Rock did that to increase his ticket sales, but she's negating the mention that the man is not suing Will Smith. And he could, but he's not going to.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
At the time of the Oscars, at the night of the Oscars, with the upcoming tour, his tickets were selling for $46 per person. After he got smacked, they jumped to over $700 per person.
Yeah, that was just nosebleed seats. Yeah,
that's fine and well, but you know what? Because this happened on national TV, the world saw. Everyone pretty much, the fact that, again, he is not going to sue Will Smith. When he can literally, if it's about, but see, no, when you talk about the tickets going up in price, it's about money. Chris Rock is making money off of it. Well, Chris Rock could make a huge paycheck literally just by Will Smith selling, because he's going to have no choice but to settle with him, but he's not going to do that.
Exactly, but the thing is that's his choice.
It's his choice because he doesn't mean Will Smith any ill will in terms of he realized Jada's toxicity, but he's a comedian. But Avis, he's a comedian. That's what he does for a living. There is no one off limits. There is no one off limits. There is no one and nothing off limits when it comes to a comedian. Comedians don't mean people ill will unless you personally attack them. Then they make you part of a skit for personal reasons.
All I'll say is this. Husband, wife, calm down. Husband, wife, calm down. The only thing that I will say to that is, like I said earlier in the show,
just by what she said, talking about comedians back in the day, I get that they did but comedians today, no. Comedians today are even worse than the comedians back.
Only thing I'll say is this. If you are hypersensitive, don't come to a comedy show.
That's it.
But see, the Oscars is not a comedy show.
Yeah, but they incorporate comedy in the show.
But the Oscars.
Well, I really wasn't talking about the Oscars.
It was a what environment?
It was a professional environment.
So, wait a minute. She said the Oscars is a professional environment. So a comedian that's invited to the Oscars because they are a comedian is not supposed to be comedic because it's a professional.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was that you said it was a comedy show. It's not a comedy show. The Oscars was not a comedy.
All I'm going to say...
Well, hold on, Tony. To that, I will say this. The three hosts of the Oscars, two of them were comedians. And they started, the three ladies, Regina Hall, I forget the white lady's name, and Wanda Sykes. They started off the show roasting people. They started off the show roasting people.
Even made a comment, and I guess it was part of the approved comment. Regina Hall did two things that had people kind of up in an uproar, low key, but it was overshadowed by the Will situation.
Yeah.
One, when she made the comment about the Jada when she brought the men up on stage, and she made a comment that directly was related to Will and Jada's open marriage. That's the first thing. And then when she started, but that's everybody didn't know that they were friends. See, there you go. Everybody knew Jada. It was this. Everybody knew that they were friends. Everybody don't know. Most of the white people at the Oscars don't follow Jada and Regina Hall's friendship, and that's the fact. But when she started touching the dudes, frisking the dudes down, like, well, what you got hidden in here? I said, if that were, and everyone else said this too, said if that were a man doing that with three women,
oh my goodness,
it would have been viewed differently.
Hey, some charges was coming. Some charges would have been coming.
Two things. I'm saying, but that's exactly my point. People who can get offended over whatever it is they decide they want to get offended over, but in reality, no one No one is off limits when it comes to comedy, and they're gonna target you, and nothing is off limits. And because you view a Corey Holcomb, me and you were watching a stand up, and you know how Corey Holcomb is.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
Stand up with Corey Holcomb on
Man.
the All-Star stand up, and he was talking about abortion and talking about the women miscarriage and flushing the baby down the toilet. Bye, little motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Now, it might have been that he even said it. At the end of that joke, said, look at these women in the audience. You could tell they had flushed the baby down the toilet. Now, it might very well been a woman that went through a miscarriage day. Do you think he was being sensitive, insensitive? He's a comedian.
Okay.
They're going to be there.
But just because he's a comedian doesn't mean they can't be insensitive.
She's expecting Bill Cosby. I told you my wife is, but she's expecting Bill Cosby sensitivity.
No. You made a comment saying that comedians can't be insensitive. I'm just saying, yeah, they can. Okay, if you want to argue the legalities or how the moral legalities behind that, that's a different topic. But can they be insensitive? Yes.
That is the topic. The morality part of it doesn't play a factor. That's their job.
But you said that comedians can't be insensitive. Yes, they can be insensitive. Yes, they can.
It's their job.
But that's their profession though.
It's their job.
That's their profession.
Anyway, that is their job.
I mean, I can understand what you're saying as far as the type of comedy that you choose to do, but not every comedian is gonna take the Seinfeld, Bill Cosby route. They're gonna be people that take the Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox route.
Well, Chris Rock is not one of them.
Shit.
What? Whoa! Whoa!
We need to sit down and watch some Chris Rock, don't we, tonight?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. Watch his Bring the Pain, his 96 special, Bring the Pain, and watch his 04 special. It wasn't Never Scared. It was the one that it was a stand-up special in 04.
I'll pull it up tonight and let her
watch it. All I'm gonna say is watch it.
As them other dudes.
Oh my goodness. Oh no. No. Because the 96 special, Chris Rock was talking about OJ. He was talking about Marion Barry.
Literally will call you by name.
Yeah.
No. Okay, you are not understanding because you're so busy talking over me. When I say that he's not on their level, that Chris Rock, if you want to compare, people are going to sit there and they're going to want to watch somebody like Richard Pryor over Chris Rock. They will gravitate more to Richard Pryor over Chris Rock.
So Richard Pryor is Babe Ruth. Come on now, Richard Pryor. If you ask somebody about Eddie Murphy, they may say, man, I'll watch Richard Pryor over Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy is one of the greatest. Chris Rock is one of the greatest black comedians of all time.
You bumped your head.
Wait a minute, hold on, time. Wait a minute, hold on, damn it, because now I'm getting offended. You just said that Chris Rock is not one of the greatest black comedians ever?
Nah,
that's what she said.
I've never found Chris Rock really funny. And all his thing, his little skit things about that I like black people, I don't like niggas.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. And that's on the 96 special.
You're entitled to your individual opinion.
Well, okay. Well, what is your opinion on Dave Chappelle then?
It depends. I have seen Dave Chappelle has done some skits that have definitely turned me off. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not feeling Dave Chappelle. There are other times that I'm like, okay, I can deal with Dave Chappelle. I like Dave Chappelle and several other skits. But yeah, there are times that Dave Chappelle has brought me wrong. But I've never really felt that Chris, like when what's the mistake? So when Gilbert Godfrey, when he just died, I even brought it up to my husband. I said, you know what? It's like Chris Rock was trying to be like him. It's the way that he talks.
Wait a minute, Gilbert Godfrey is dead?
The black Gilbert Godfrey.
Wait a minute, Gilbert Godfrey is dead?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
When did he die?
2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. No, oh wow, I didn't know that. That was my guy.
Cancer.
Yeah, that was my guy. He's another one. He would offend you with his stand-up.
Top 10. Here's the thing. Top 10. Chris Rock is definitely top 10 in black. Like, he may be top 5 in black, but
I'm putting him top 5 in black.
Yeah. But in black and white, I would say Chris Rock is still
top 10.
15, top 10. Yeah, whether you like
Chris
him,
Rock is Chris Rock.
It's sort of like making an argument about Eminem. switching to rap, making an argument where people say, well, Eminem is not top. What man? His platinum records and that money that he's made indicates something different, though. Whether you like his rap or not is irrelevant. As far as him being successful, you can't argue it.
In the top 5 or whatever it is, then his ticket sales at the night of the Oscars would not have been no $46 a person.
That was the nosebleed seats, though.
Yeah, okay. No, they weren't.
They were. I'm serious. I mean, come on. I saw Kevin Hart 7 years ago, and the tickets. Well, I didn't have nosebleeds, but the tickets was just $100 a pop. But that wasn't nosebleed, and this was when Kevin Hart was at the top of the game.
Those are the price of his tickets that night at the Oscars. They were $46 a person, and then after he got over $7.
I told Tony this, that Will Smith smacked a bag of money in his pocket.
Where you're sitting as close as I'm sitting to you, listening to that comedian, you're not listening to Chris Rock for no $46.
No, not front row. No way. No.
No, you're not. You're Avis. Look at this quote. Do that. Look that up. Look, I want you to look that up, but I also want you to look up his net worth.
Okay, and it's nowhere near Will.
But Will's not a comedian, and we're not even talking about Will.
Wait a minute, now he's not a comedian. You trying to tell me that Will was a comedian?
When he first started, he was.
He was always an actor.
Okay.
He was an actor.
He was a rapper. How about that? He wasn't even an actor then.
He was a rapper. Exactly.
Yeah, he started off as a rapper. No, Will Smith was never a comedian. He was a rapper first.
Measuring things with net worth, the fact of the matter is, both of them dudes is, millions, over 100 million, easy. My point is, we're trying to compare their net worth does not. One is an actor. You get paid significantly more than you do just as a comedian. Chris Rock is mostly a comedian that sometimes acts.
Right. Right.
And he doesn't actually, other than I Think I Love My Wife. What other movie has Chris Rock really been the main star? He's always been, Grown Ups and stuff like that.
Death at a, to me, his best movie was Death at a Funeral. That was hilarious.
Right. Yeah. Death at a Funeral. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the one with Martin and Tracy Morgan. I had a list. That had a.
Adam Sandler in Grown Ups, he was just one of the friends. They all pretty much equal roles in the movies.
Yeah.
Grown Ups.
At the end of the day,
multiple movies.
At the end of the day, whether it is Chris or especially Will, okay, like the meme said, looking up both of their network, that network, and then look at your own. And people need to step back and mind their own damn business.
Okay, and that was true, and that was true until it occurred on national TV, which was there for us to consume.
That is what people said after the situation. Look up their network, then look up yours, and then sit back and just mind your own business.
Okay,
handle it.
But again,
Will apologize, and now he's doing.
Will didn't apologize.
He did to apologize.
Will didn't apologize.
He did to apologize.
So, hey, Brandon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is going off the rails.
Yes.
It's on the same subject, but it's going off the rails. So her boy, who she really, really likes, Steve Harvey, right? One said it was a punk move by Will, because you're going to come up there and hit me when you know I can't fight back. That's the first thing. If you're the man, you'd have stepped him in that green room. But
right.
Steve Harvey's opinion. But Steve Harvey also said, in terms of what you're saying, the about it being public business and people still talking about it and this, that, and the other, blah, blah. Jada is talking about it. Chris Rock, Jada is on her show talking about it. Talking about how she didn't respect Will for that and yada yada. She threw Will under the bus for doing it.
Okay, but
now how does that and Will apologized to his publicist. Steve Harvey said the same thing. Will has and Dave Chappelle said the same thing. Will has yet to pick up the phone. Dave Chappelle said it on video. You should pick up the phone and call Chris Rock and apologize to him man to man.
Right.
You don't apologize unless you apologize to him.
Okay, so
you got a publicist.
Family, husband, wife.
So how do you know he hasn't?
Husband, wife.
Said he hasn't.
Husband and wife.
Hey. What I say.
Hello.
I said who's they, but you won't let me say who's they.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're gonna have to continue this another show because my phone is about to die. This is great. Wife, you're welcome back anytime. Boy, y'all are showing me why the hell I'm not gonna be married anymore. I'm just playing.
It was my best friend and my best frenemy. So
well, you know what? Hey, as long as y'all make it work, teamwork make the dream work. But
he ain't bald head, so I ain't got to worry about that.
You hear that? When you listen to the podcast, you'll hear the beeping going off because my battery is about to die on my phone. But hey, listen, we will continue this again. Your wife, you're welcome anytime. And I know y'all can't wait to get that. Just as soon as it's uploaded, I'm gonna send it to you so both of y'all can sit back and listen to yourselves.
Meanwhile, she gonna get that Chris Rock hands tonight.
No, watch the Chris Rock. Watch the Chris Rock.
I'm gonna pull up both of them. So
But
you can hear it herself.
But I'm gonna get at y'all.
All right, man.
All right, later. All right. Wow. Boy, healthy disagreement at its finest. That was wonderful. This is the longest episode of Sports Plus Life ever. My goodness. I mean, where the buzzer. I mean, that was special. That was. Well, before we get out of here, shout out to Tony and his lovely wife. That was wonderful. And hey, I value everybody's opinion. I may not agree with them, but I mean, your opinion is your opinion. And if you believe it, that's what's up. I mean, me, again, I've said this throughout the whole show. If you are hypersensitive, don't go to a stand-up comedy show. That's just my opinion. To me, a stand-up comedian should not have any limits because, for one, they're exercising their right of freedom of speech. Two, that's their profession. Now, to those who think otherwise that there should be a limit, I respect it. I respectfully disagree with it, but I do respect it. But again, definitely don't hesitate to hit that subscription button, boy. Today was Must Hear Podcast, okay? Starting off with my cousin David. Shout out to you, bro. Then Tony. Then being joined by his lovely wife. Yes, definitely hit that subscription button. Become part of the Sports Plus Life family. It's your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. I'm out this bitch. Hope that didn't offend anybody. Peace.